Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Filtered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics. We even get a little political every now and again. So that's the show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we need to talk about this So 11 situation that's going on with Blumhouse and some of the producers saying what may have transpired before the whole Saw 11 situation went the way it went. We got to break down this Scream book, your favorite scary movie. It came out yesterday, and there's a lot of stuff that's come out about the book. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we need to talk about the MCU losing jobs. They done sent everything from Georgia over to the UK. Beau DeMayo is still going in on Kevin Feige in the MCU. There was a story that I saw with because you know when I be talking about wrestlers and actors and how they've gotten better, especially Dave Bautista. Well, apparently the Hollywood Reporter put together a list of the 10 wrestlers turned actors and how they ranked them. And I was gagging. Well, I wasn't really gagging. I was excited over the number one choice, and it wasn't Dwayne Johnson. So we're gonna get into that. Nicole Scherzinger is facing potential trial as you know she is struggling to settle this PCD lawsuit with Robert Anton. So we'll get into that. For Lopez, apparently look, she just can't seem to catch a break because Miss Mama's look like she done lost her record label after This Is Me Now done flopped. So we'll get into that. Plus, there was a story that came out that I'm like, what the hell's going on? Apparently, Tamar Braxton revealed that she almost died a couple of days ago over the weekend because she was found covered in a pool of blood or some kind. It's crazy. We're going to get into that. Plus, Jermaine Dupri is revealing why, if he were to do an album with Chris Brown, it would literally cause friction between him and Usher. So we're getting into that because he spoke about it on the Joe Budden podcast. Monique is still going in on Tyler Perry. This time she sat down with T.S. Madison and Kiki with her over that tea. And we have some Drag Race news. Trixie is revealing, because she and Katya are doing a rewatch of season 7, and she's giving some inside tea on the whole elimination process, on like what the queens go through when they get eliminated on the show. So we have that. Plus we have some Drag Race news, which I'm pretty much sure that those who follow Drag Race on Reddit and all these other places, this ain't really big news regarding what had happened with the future of the show, but we'll discuss it because they decided to make it an official announcement on all the trades, like, the EWs, Hollywood Reporters, so on and so forth. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. After the live, I will be putting in timestamps for those who just want to come in and check out the the topics that tickle their fancy, instead of having to sit through the whole live stream that a lot of people normally do on the show. I know a lot of people don't have time to sit here and watch the full show, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So they just want to go in and see whichever, topics. Oh, this sounds interesting. Let me look up in there and see what he had to say and what the people were saying and all that stuff. So yeah, we got that and all that good stuff. So please and thank y'all. I see we already have people coming in the building. Robert and Carl, hey, how you doing? Cleveland Legends. I see everybody up in here so far. Giving everybody a couple of minutes to pop in. So let me hit my banner. And without further ado, let's get into topic number 1. And let's get into this whole. Oh, I just realized I had my YouTube thing open, so I had to close that real quick. But let's get into this Saw 11 news. So longtime Saw series producer Oren Kulis said that Saw 11 isn't happening due to a disagreement with producing partner Mark Berg, and not because of the franchise's recent Blumhouse acquisition. So for those who are not familiar, there were rumors floating around that the reason why Saw 11 didn't happen because after Saw 10, they had already fast-tracked a script for Saw 11. I heard that it was supposed to take place mere minutes after the ending of Saw 10. They were trying to get going with everything, and then apparently there was a disagreement between the producers. That was the rumor that was floating around. Now it has been confirmed that exactly is what had happened. So let's get into it. So there was a time when we heard a certain call. No, I'm not doing We Are the World. When Saw 11 was set for theatrical release in September of this year, But the 11th installment of the hit franchise ultimately stalled out and was eventually pulled from the release schedule entirely. Then came the bombshell that Blumhouse had acquired the franchise rights from Twisted Pictures, with the saga likely to return to the big screen with some form of reboot rather than the more traditional sequel to Saw X that had been planned. So what happened behind the scenes that led to Saw 11 being scrapped and Blumhouse taking over the rights long held by Twisted Pictures, you might be wondering at this point. Twisted's Oren Koulis had spilled the beans in a chat with Fangoria, revealing that Koulis and his Twisted Pictures partner, Mark Berg, just couldn't agree on the direction for Saw 11. Now, Twisted's Oren Koulis, so it says he told the outlet, my partner and I couldn't see eye to eye on Saw 11. It was the right time to sell. So it's just like, you know what? If we're not going to see eye to eye on this, we still trying to figure out how to make this franchise continue, because I feel like y'all beat yourselves into a corner by making it all about John Kramer, and then you went and killed him off, which I thought was a huge mistake, when you could have just did like okay, he was lied to and told he had terminal cancer, which is kind of what I liked about the recent one, Saw X, was that he got taken advantage of. He felt like, they told him he was dying. He went to these people. He thought they were going to help him recover or whatever. They took advantage of him. He basically channeled his inner, even though he was before Luigi Mangione, he channeled his inner Luigi Mangione and took revenge on these people that did him dirty, these medical corporate vampires who sit and take advantage of the vulnerable. And he decided to go in and torture them and give them a choice of whether or not they wanted to live or die. I like that concept. But the fact of the matter was, y'all went and killed them off. You brought these other characters. I did like Amanda, and I'm glad that they brought them to bad, because they were the best two anti-heroes in my opinion. I don't want to necessarily call them villains, because they do come across very anti-hero-esque. There's certain things I don't agree with what they're doing, but then there's certain parts where I'm glad they be like, yeah, get them up. Like, that's how I be feeling when I watch Saw at those times. And then after it's like y'all killed off Amanda, then y'all try to bring in Costas Mandalore and all these. It's like they weren't really hitting it. So at this point, I do feel like what needs to happen with this franchise is y'all need to reboot it with a new killer, a new Jigsaw, and find out, because if you're under new management and you're bringing back James Wan, who was behind the original film. I don't know if Lee Winnell's going to be a part of it. I would think he would be, but if this was something that these two guys created and ushered quickly into the mainstream as this newfound type of horror, I would think that y'all would want to have them a part of this. And I think like James Wan, okay, so it says, wait, let me see. It does say James Wan and Lee Winnell will be helping to guide the future of the franchise alongside Blumhouse and Lionsgate. So they will be having a hand in what's going on, and hopefully they can get it back to the roots of the original film, but just expand on it more with like the traps and stuff. Because what's one of the things I love about the franchise is the traps and stuff that they come up with and the torture that they put these people through. Some deserve more than others, but for the most part, it's like I like what they're doing with that. But yeah, they're definitely gonna have to come up with a new concept. They're definitely gonna have to find a new Jigsaw, because when you look at someone like Tobin Bell, he's old. It's like we can't beat around it. He's a man of a particular age, and you can't rely on someone who, I don't even know how old Tobin Bell is. Tobin Bell probably like 80 or something. But it's like you can't rely on him. It's the same thing I said about Robert Englund. I know we love Robert Englund. I know we love A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I know we want a reboot of some sort or a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. However, Robert Englund is a man of a particular age. He's already said he can't do the stunts that he did back in the day in the 80s and the 90s and stuff when he was playing Freddy Krueger. He was a lot younger then, obviously. So it's like, no, I know y'all love him and he's an icon, and he was someone who was able to make that character his own and nobody could step in and fill his shoes, blah, 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 blah. But they have to find a new character to bring in. They have to find a new person to come in and do it. And if you want this franchise to last a long time, you need to go younger. And it's just, is what it is. So hopefully they're coming up with something. It's unfortunate to hear that this is what happened, but Blumhouse, in my opinion, y'all honestly could use a hit right now, because a lot of y'all horror movies have been a miss, especially Megan 2.0 was a disaster. I know we have Black Phone 2. I'm really excited to see that when it comes out. And so good luck with this franchise and the future of this franchise. So I say all of this to say, What do you guys think of this story regarding Saw 11 and the whole situation? I'm like, you pretty much just confirmed what the rumors were that we already knew about. And I'm glad that you finally just confirmed basically what we all knew. Well, those of us who've been keeping a close eye on this whole situation and been following the tea. But I know there's people out here who don't have time to sit up here and follow every little minute little detail, whatever. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Let's see who's in the building. Robert's here, Carla's here, Cleveland's here, Numbriel's here, Onyx is in the building. Oh yeah, we getting a Tamar. That is coming up. As you said, the Saw timeline has no right being that complicated and confusing, not for a torture corn franchise. That is true. It's like basically somebody was done dirty. He basically just took the law in his own hands and has taken down the very people that giving them a choice on how bad they want to live or whatever. So it isn't that complicated of a story. And you said, and Blumhouse owns all the rights. The theme park rides, basically the sale included the franchise. And they could use some money. Yeah, Tobin Bella's old. I'm always surprised he's still alive when it was like, oh my god, I thought he died. I get like that sometimes when I look at certain characters, I'll be like, I sworn that actor died. Like sometimes I get like that. Speaking of horror movies, I saw the trailer for Good Boy. Everybody keeps talking about this, and I meant to see it yesterday, and I saw that there was a reaction video. I forget who it was that did it. I think it was We Watched the Movie. Hey Mike. It's like, I think he did a reaction. I didn't get to watch it, and I kept trying to get around to watch it, getting around to watching it, but I kept forgetting. I'm gonna try to see it today when I'm done with the show. All right, let me see. Where are we going next? Oh, all right. So now let's go from Saw to another S, Scream. So I'm sure y'all already know this if you've been keeping track of the show and some of the stuff we be talking about on here. But yeah, the book, Your Favorite Scary Movie, How to Scream Films Rewrote the Rules of Horror, finally came out. It came out actually yesterday. So since the book has been released, I actually have the book coming tomorrow. As soon as I was working on this story today, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I got to go online and buy the book. It's like $23 on Amazon. So I went over there, got it. I want to get the audio thing as well, but because I have Prime and all of this, so I can probably listen to the Audible and stuff through that. It was like 99 cents or whatever, so I could probably listen to it for take it for free, listen to it, and then before y'all start to charge me, I cancel. So I'm gonna do that because the guy who voices Ghostface actually voices Roger, what is his name? Roger L. Jackson. I don't know why we want to call him Samuel L. Jackson. Are they related? No, they not. He white. But I mean, like we don't like black folks don't have white cousins, right? But yeah, Roger L. Jackson reads the Audible, which is cool because he does the voice of Ghostface. So there were two different articles that came out and spilled tea in regards to what was going on. When I looked at the Hollywood Reporter one, I don't feel like the Hollywood Reporter article gave us enough dish. But I will go through that one as well. But the one that I felt like really was given behind the scenes, really juicy stuff, was the Us Weekly article that came out today. So let's actually get into that. So Ashley Cullen's book, Your Favorite Scary Movie, How to Scream Films Rewrote the Rules of Horror, released on August 19th, features brand new interviews from Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Kevin Williamson, Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, Jack Quaid, Parker Posey, Hayden Panettiere, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, Radio Silence, Roger L. Jackson, and more, all detailing what went into making the beloved horror franchise. Inspired by a real-life series of murders in Florida, Scream followed a group of high school students as they try to survive and uncover a serial killer in a mask, aka Ghostface. As the Scream series found success, it expanded to include 6 more films and even a TV series. We don't try to remember the TV series. It was not good. I mean, it had its moments, but it was on MTV, number one, and number two, it just wasn't doing what needed to be done. Now, Some of the highlights that they go into: offers for Scream. Now, they said Williamson revealed that there were numerous offers to purchase Scream, but Paramount allegedly pulled back once it went over the $300,000 mark. The bidding continued, hitting $450K and then ultimately $650,000. Then they go into Rose McGowan's paycheck. So McGowan, who played Tatum, was offered $50,000 for the role, but her attorney demanded triple that amount, saying, quote, all of a sudden, this man named Harvey Weinstein that I'd never heard of got involved and they rescinded the offer. She recalled of the disgraced producer currently serving a 23-year sentence in a New York prison after being convicted on charges of criminal sex act and rape in the third degree. So, and then she went on to say, quote, then they made me do more screen tests even though I already had the offer. So Harvey Weinstein was being a dick, per usual, which, since he'd been in jail, there's been so many horror stories regarding how horrible that man was. And then, of course, the big elephant in the room, or is it really that big of an elephant? The Lance Henriksen role in Scream 3 is basically modeled after Harvey Weinstein. That's always been the inside, and it makes sense because it's Miramax. They were the ones that were producing the Scream films at the time. And since it was like this whole Hollywood behind the scenes thing of making Stab and the stuff that was going on and that was written in the script regarding sexual actors doing sexual favors and all kinds of little jokes at him and there, which they're not real jokes, they're actual things. They have what do they call those people? The yacht boys and yacht girls and stuff now, where it's like actors go on boats with rich folks and pretty much are selling puss and bus for a coin. They recently did, child, that was one that was recently done on Zac Efron. And I'm gonna leave it at that. So then they said then they get into the reality of making the first film. They said despite playing one of the OG killers, Matthew Lillard said he probably cleared $11,000 to $12,000 for a month of work. The book also highlighted the challenges of getting permission to film at Santa Rosa High School, saying the district school board pulled back their involvement after a public debate about violence in movies, which led to a request for $10,000 in payment, an amount that was later increased to $30,000. Scream was ultimately filmed at the Sonoma Community Center for a fee of $27,000. So all of a sudden, y'all are talking about, scary movies and things about some of the debates about violence in movies, but then you want to increase so that way you could shoot them. No, I ain't giving you a dime. That's how I would have felt. And then they were talking about the various firings throughout the franchise. So now director Wes Craven, who directed the first 4 films before his 2016 death, almost got fired just a week into filming Scream when Dimension Films head Bob Weinstein was concerned about the raw footage shot in the first week. They said the decision was walked back when Bob saw a cut together scene that showed more of the final version of Scream. Well, that's usually how it goes. This is why I can't with you producers. Y'all think just because y'all throw money around that y'all understand how movies work. And it's like, let me do what I do. Let me shoot the footage. Let me edit it together. Let me show you a rough cut so that when you get an idea. But everybody's worrying about, oh, well, I'm going to fire them because the raw footage is not doing what needs to be done. This is why you need people that actually like movies to be running studios or to be producing stuff. But a lot of times you don't get that. So the original cinematographer for the first Scream movie was fired a week before filming wrapped. There were conflicting reports about whether Mark Irwin's shots were out of focus, which was the reason given to his dismissal. They said when Wes passed away, Hollywood Reporter Variety, they asked, any last impressions, fond memories? Nobody ever quoted me, but I said I knew Wes was my friend because he stabbed me in the front as opposed to the back. This is what Irwin shared in the book. And that's what he did with a straight face to point to a screen and say, that's out of focus. First of all, it's not out of focus. And second of all, it ended up in the goddamn movie. Irwin continued, he said, they threw me to the wolves, saying that 2 weeks of my work was bad, which was an absolute fallacy. They got 2 weeks worth of reshoot money, and I know that they didn't reshoot anything because the guys who took over the show are friends of mine. They just needed the money to finish the movie. Wes needed that lifeline to save his career, and it did. And here's the thing. When one of the things you have to realize, and I did watch this the other day on YouTube, I was watching some video about, I was doing like a deep dive on Wes Craven. And they were talking about like with A Nightmare on Elm Street and so many other movies they was coming. Oh, I know what it was. It was I think it was Joe Blow did something or another, and they were talking about like 3 of his underrated movies. One was Shocker, the other one was People Under the Stairs, and then oh my god, I totally forgot what the third one was. But it was just like 3 of Deadly Friend. So they was talking about like 3 of the most underrated movies that he's done and the hell that he was going through with the studios trying to get certain movies made, and him trying to do what he had to do to save his career. And then until Scream came along and pretty much jolted new life in his career because he was trying to go off and do different things. He didn't want to do a sequel to A Nightmare on Elm Street until, what was the one that came out where Heather Langenkamp was basically playing herself and they had Miko Hughes as her son? So yeah, when they came out and did that one, I don't know why Freddy's Dead is in my head. And that was such a terrible damn movie. But when they did a movie, it was like literally they were making a Freddy movie, and then he was actually coming to life. So when all of that was going done, I think that was when it jolted new life in his career. Even though I don't think that movie did well at the box office, but it was a good A Nightmare on Elm Street universe film. And then Scream came along and really revived his career. Then he did Scream 2 and then Scream 4 and all the other stuff that happened. But I do agree with that. It's like he was in fight or flight mode. He was willing to throw his people under the bus to save his career. So I get it. And you know what? I applaud somebody to be like, well, bitch, you done stabbed me in the front instead of the back. That's how I knew you was real. At best you do it dead to my face and try to pull some sneak mess behind my back, which is what a lot of people in this industry end up doing. So then it went on to say that was the moment that changed everything for my relationship with Dimension, and that story has never been told. I was never going to tell the story ever, but that's the truth. That's what happened. This is what Williamson said. It's legendary that I had a big fight with the studio. That's where it all started. I said, I need to get out. Let me just walk away. That's when I negotiated my walk out of my overall deal with Dimension. I gave up all my rights to Scream. I gave up any sort of first refusal or any other rights that typically a writer has. I gave them up so I could walk free out the door. Now, producer Kathy Conrad also had a falling out with Bob between Scream 3 and Scream 4. She was not brought back for the 4th film and only learned she was no longer involved via various news outlets. And she said she sued them. And it was settled out of court, by the way. And then it said that was a pretty controversial time for myself in my career. I was really pushing back quite hard with the brothers. I had a lot of other things going on, and they always like to make things difficult. I believe it because I've heard so many stories. And y'all think it was just Harvey? No, Bob was no innocent either. I'm not saying he was going out here sexually abusing women and holding auditions in his hotel room with a little shrimp dick in a white robe. Anybody said that about Bob because Bob has this own Harvey, but he was just as much of an asshole as that other one was. And then he said, my experience before, it wasn't a shining time for me. Now they talk about then they get into most shocking exits. After Radio Silence members Matt Bertinelli Open and Tyler Gillette were brought on to direct Scream 5, they also faced a few roadblocks when scheduling issues with their film Abigail led to them exiting the 7th film. Scream 5 also introduced protagonists Sam and Tara, played by Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, respectively. But Ortega, 22, left ahead of Scream 7 due to scheduling conflicts, and Barrera, 35, was fired after being vocal about her support for Palestine amid the ongoing conflict. You already know the tea with that. Now, your favorite scary movie revealed that Ortega's exit managed to stay secret for several months. So they knew for months she wasn't coming back. And it's because she was doing all these other movies. She was working on Wednesday. And it just so happened that the timing of it all is what messed things up because they went and fired Melissa. Then it slipped out or spilled out. Somebody leaked it. I don't know. I wasn't there. That Jenna wasn't going to be in the film because she quietly exited. And then they went on and said, based on the way people were talking about the project in the early fall, I suspected they thought she'd change her mind and at least make a quick cameo in the form of a FaceTime call. The book noted, in late November, right after the SAG-AFTRA strike ended, it became clear that wasn't going to happen. So I think, and that was when Christopher Landon, as we talked about yesterday, said that he basically made the decision to walk away after they fired Melissa because he knew that Jenna Ortega wasn't going to be in the film because of scheduling conflicts. So they whittled down her part a bit. They were going to focus it more. Now it makes sense that they said the script was going to be heavily focused on Melissa Barrera's Sam Carpenter character. And so I I guess it will follow her and her journey or whatever she's going through. And then they would have Jenna shoot like an off-scene cameo, very much, I'm like, very much like Kim Cattrall and Just Like That season 2. So I guess they was expecting something like that. But she's like, oh no, I got other things going on. Scream was not, I guess maybe she wasn't really feeling Scream to be like this thing that rocked her world as much. So she just didn't feel the need to come back and be a part of the whole franchise. So then they get into Neve Campbell's exit and return. And they went on to say this, because you know, or maybe you don't, because in case you haven't been following, she did not return for Scream 6 because they tried to underpay her. And she was like, she's not gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it now. If someone who has carried this entire franchise on her damn back, and the only reason why we was coming back to these Scream movies was because of Neve Campbell. When Quiet as It's Kept, the only 2 movies that I feel like really gave us a Sydney-centered story. Say that 10 times fast. Where she didn't feel like she was being like the sidekick or playing second fiddle, or didn't kind of like gel with the story with the, you know, whoever's going to be in the cast. The first Scream and Scream 2, because the first Scream was about her and her group of friends, somebody in her friend group. Well, we all found out it was somebody in the friend group that was trying to kill her as well as all of her friends and things. The Scream 2, her circle of friends and somebody trying to kill her while she's off at college. Then we get to Scream 3, she's in hiding. Then they're off. They've got another side story going on where they're filming a stab movie, and murders are happening on the set of this stab film. What was it, Stab 3? And then Scream 4, she's on a book tour. Her stop is Woodsboro, and then she's hanging out with her cousin, who turns out to be the killer. And so there felt like a bit of a detachment there. And then Scream 5 comes along, and y'all already know how I felt about Scream 5 and 6 and how they treated the legacy characters up in that. So we don't need to go into a long-winded recap of that, because I don't want to sound like certain pundits that be on YouTube that like to repeat the same damn beats in the same damn script over and over when they talk. So here's what she said. She said, I knew I wouldn't be able to walk on set feeling disrespected. I knew I wouldn't be able to walk on set feeling that I hadn't respected myself. And I knew I wouldn't be able to walk on set if I wasn't being paid what I deserved after decades of doing these films. This is what she said in the tell-all. I love these movies, and the idea of them carrying on without me made me sad, but I wasn't worth feeling disrespected. So I didn't watch the movie, and I didn't pay any attention to how it was doing. I love all those actors. I have no ill will towards anybody who made the movie. I'm happy for anyone who gets to be part of these films. But for me, it wasn't the right decision to go and be in the film. And now in the end, it's come back around, and I'm very grateful. And yes, it's come all the way around because you started losing all your stars with Jenna Ortega. You lost the Carpenter sisters. And then it's like, you lost a director. Everybody's in panic mode. And now they're like, so what do we do? Let's give Miss Sydney back. Let's back up the Brinks for all the money we was going to pay them other 2. Let's give it to her and double it. Let's give her an executive producer role. So she's had a hand in structuring where Sydney is today, because I've heard that story, and getting paid the money that you should have gave us from the beginning. Because at the end of the day, us legacy fans are going to support this long in the tooth franchise, not these new generation people that you trying to take our original IP that came out damn near 30 years ago and try to pass it on to a new generation. I mean, y'all could do that if you could figure out a way to do it. And maybe this is the way that they're planning on doing it with Sydney and her family and passing the torch down on her daughter, whatever the case is. But we'll see how that all goes when that happens. She also went on to say, I had big conversations with the studio and they approached me about it. We had some apologies, we had some honesty, and that was really great. So I feel good about coming back. When they approached me, they said, we're going to come with a number that is starting in a much more appropriate place, which you should have did from the beginning, but y'all came with your tail between your legs. So I've been said that was going to happen, but it's lonely being right. Then it said, then we negotiated and we got to where we needed to be, which is what should have happened on 6, but it's okay. We live and learn. Why does that sound like a read? That sounds a little shady. She was like, that's what should happen on 6, but it's all right. We live and learn. Let me find out Neve hanging around a bunch of homosexuals, because she knew how to throw that little little dagger. She took that ghost face knife and twisted it a little bit, scraped the bone underneath. Yeah, she gave a little that with that last comment. Now, they also revealed that she had some concerns when filming the fifth movie when Sam brutally stabbed one of the killers. She said it stopped feeling like Scream, which influenced the story she was hoping to see told in Scream 7. Saying, quote, Nev wants to go back to the first one and find the suspense and really concentrate on scary and not bloody. She was smart. She goes, this is the time to do it because we're moving away from New York. We're going back to Sydney's life. This is the time to reset a little bit. And I'm like, yep, let's do it. Kimber explained that while Scream 7 will be a whodunit, it would go beyond that. At the center of the film would be Sydney, who fans shouldn't worry about seeing get killed off on screen. And here's what was said by Kevin Williamson. He said, I made it very clear. I think publicly, too, that Sydney has been through so much torment and she has been through so much trauma that to give her anything less than a happy ending is mean. It's just sacrilegious. And I know some people are like, but y'all gave her a happy ending in Scream 6 and her little one-off sentence that Gail said, oh, she's she got her happy ending, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, but that was temporary because now we got to see like how Sydney is navigating through this new world, which here she said this. And how her family plays a large role in the upcoming film. Think about how challenging it would be to make the choice to even have a child if you were Sidney Prescott. Then, if you did have kids, the stress and fear that you would live under about your history coming back to you. I don't want to give it away, but how she chooses the parent is a big choice and perhaps different than how others might. Well, I think when we were still trying to figure out, once y'all started laying down who was cast and that she was going to have this teenage daughter, excuse me, and all the things that was going to ensue her, I'm like, pretty much could see in my head how you were going to do it. Y'all going to turn Sidney Prescott into Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween 2018, and you're going to make her daughter, played by Isabel May, you're going to make her more like, not Annie Matichak, but more like the older daughter that she had. Not the granddaughter, the daughter. You're going to make her more like her character, where she's kind of going to be rebellious against her mother. I don't think Sydney is going to be doomsday prepper cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I do think that she's going to be very overprotective. She's found a way to try to suppress a lot of what went on in her past. Although we know the past don't never stay dead forever because there's Google, it's free, the internet is what it is. So people going to look into her life and see who she is. I don't know if she went and changed her name and she's not known as Sydney and there's other stuff. She also said this, which I kind of made me sigh a little bit. So when they talked to her about the Marks, remember the story about Mark Evans, and then there was the other Mark, which was played by Mark Kincaid, played by Patrick Dempsey. So in the new book, she told author Ashley Collins that she never made the connection between the Mark references in the previous films and Dempsey's Kincaid. She said, honestly, I thought it was just a random name. And I'm like, really? Because I could have sworn that she had made inclination that she had said in an interview that Mark Kincaid was her husband, that they went and got married. I could have sworn that was alluded to. So am I bugging, or is it that they couldn't, this is a whole behind the scenes, they couldn't lock in Patrick Dempsey, so they had to make a quick, we had to just pick a Mark or whatever the case is, and now she's got to kind of like walk back that a little bit and try to play like she got amnesia. So I'm wondering if that's what that is in that situation. So yeah, that was all, and look, that was all from the Us Weekly article, so that was a lot. And then I went through, because yeah, we're not even done, but I want to wrap this up. The Hollywood Reporter one, they mentioned things like the movie's coming out on February 27, 2026. They talk about how the last film ended. If you haven't seen the film, then you need to go and see it. I'm not going to read, how the film ended. They talk about how the Legacy Trio is coming back. So we got Sydney, Gale, and Dewey. I need to know how they plan on bringing back Dewey, but some people believe that it's a whole AI storyline. So that may be the way he's coming back. They also talk about who else is in the cast, including Joe McHale, Anna Camp, McKenna Grace, Isabel May, Michelle Randolph, Ethan Embry, Mark Consuelos, yes, Kelly Ripa husband's up in there, Jimmy Tatro, Celeste O'Connor, Asa Gurman, and Sam Reckner. And then they talk about what they teased. Basically, we know about Stu's coming back and a bunch of others, but we all think that there's an AI angle with that. But I am upset, though, that they revealed that Dewey was coming back and stuff, or in the fact that they were revealing that Stu was coming back. Because I'm like, I would have loved to have gone into this movie and being surprised, but they decided to bring it up. And I guess because, like I said, they got in a panic mode about the previous drama that was going on behind the scenes with this Scream movie. So it's like, oh, we need to start name dropping and we need to do like how they doing with Avengers Doomsday. We need to accept, we can't afford to show like the backs of, on set chairs. We got to just let y'all know that we have this Avengers of Scream cast members coming back into the fold to get everybody excited. But I think all it did is, it got some of the fandom excited, but I also think it set off some mixed feelings. Then they get into the whole thing about who's directing, who's the other creatives, what's the plot. There really isn't we don't really know what the plot is. So, but they did say that it's going to be solely focused on Sydney. So like I said, the Hollywood Reporter, they did this big story on it, but I felt like y'all gave what a lot of these major trades usually do, a bunch of damn nothing burgers. But the Us Weekly article really went in and went through the book and put a whole lot of interesting stuff out regarding what's going on in this book. As I stated before, I'm looking forward to the book. It's coming in tomorrow. I went and ordered it earlier today, so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on this book. And when I come on camera, I'm gonna show y'all I got it. Hopefully, it comes before I go on air, but I'm going to get the book. I'm going to go through it. I definitely want to hear the audio version with Roger L. Jackson, doing the voice or reading the book and stuff. So I definitely want to get that one as well. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Does this make you even more excited to hearing all the behind the scenes tea? And I'm sure there's way more in the book that we haven't even scratched the surface of yet. And I'm sure other conglomerates will get and start revealing and spilling more Scream tea as the days go by. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So it concludes all of this. Let's see what the people are saying. Yes, Blumhouse is taking over the horror franchise of Saw. Okay, Ghostface, White Riot. Oh no, we had remember somebody, who was it that actually wrote Never Campbell? I think it was Cleveland. Put that by accident. We keeping it going. Scream book. What? I need to get it. And since we are on the topic of the films, Mikey Madison, who was in Anora, was in the remake from. Yep, she was the killer in the first Scream, alongside Jack Quaid. So that's what she came from. And look, y'all even got Oscar winners that was in a Scream movie. So who says people in Scream movies just can't act? That's why I said these people gonna stop disrespecting the horror genre. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. Let's go from horror to Marvel. Because apparently they're in the business of losing money, especially in the United States, because, mostly, maybe y'all don't know this, but a lot of Marvel movies for the past couple of years have been shot in Georgia. But now we've been hearing that a lot of the movies that are coming out of the MCU have decided to travel overseas, across the pond, to London, to be exact, or we could say the UK. So yeah, the Brits have pretty much taken all of our jobs, and it's due because it's too damn expensive out here. So when y'all getting mad at immigrants and this, that, and the other, no, you didn't blame this country for being freaking succubuses and always wanting to be greedy. So Marvel Studios has shifted most of its production out of Georgia in favor of the UK, a move that has gutted the Peach State's film industry, wiping out nearly half its spending and leaving once bustling sound stages largely empty. So for years, the state of Georgia has hosted some of the world's biggest name productions, including The Hunger Games, Stranger Things, and the Fast and the Furious franchise. Disney's Marvel also accounts for a significant proportion of revenue in Georgia's film industry. Why do I feel? I don't know. For some reason, I'm stuck on that word. I feel like y'all used the wrong word. It said didn't be that for a significant portion of revenue. They said proportion. Shout out to Screen Rant. Who wrote this? AI? So they said, however, beginning with the Fantastic Four first steps, Marvel has turned outside the U.S. for filming in order to reduce production costs. It's a huge move for the studio, which has made over 20 movies and TV series in the Atlanta, Georgia area. As per the Wall Street Journal, Marvel leaves Georgia in favor of a studio outside London where Disney has long-term lease. Spider-Man Brand New Day and the next two Avengers movies are being filmed there. Well, right now they're shooting on location in Glasgow, Scotland, but I'm sure that if they're talking about sound stages, they're planning on moving it to a smaller, they're probably going to move it to the UK. Like when they have to do like the interior shots or whatever, they need to do it on a sound stage. Then they said reasons for the move include cheaper labor and studios not being required to subsidize workers' medical expenses as the UK has universal health care. Something that we've been crowing about for years, but the government, both sides, won't give it to us. Because, the Democrats and the Republicans, at the end of the day, they serve the same master. And I'm talking about centrist corporate Democrats who are MAGA-light, who do not want to see us get universal health care. They crow about it. They say, "Oh yeah, we're running on it. We're running on it." And then when they get elected, what happened? Because didn't Joe Biden run on that? We still don't have universal health care. Everybody in other countries pretty much have universal health care. Why is it a problem here? Israel has universal health care on our dime. So how come we don't have it? And you can look that up to find out that tea. So we paying for other countries to have universal health care, but we can't have it? Because you want everybody to go bankrupt, which is one of the big sources of that situation out here. And to me, I'm looking at this like, well, goddamn, maybe I need to move to the UK because y'all getting all the businesses and everything's going out there, and you got all these studios out of here, not only in Georgia but in LA, and they're just sitting there collecting dust. You're paying rent on empty studios because the rent is too damn high. Everything is too damn expensive. And yeah, so I guess they think, okay, if I go to the UK and I shoot an Avengers movie, or if I shoot a movie that is like in America, it will cost us $300 million to film. We could do that half the price. We could do it like for 150 out in the UK and hopefully recoup that at the box office. They also went on to say Marvel's departure has fueled fears of job losses in Georgia. Now, while studios typically fly in stars, directors and department heads to shooting locations, the rest of the production largely relies on local crew and resources. The studio's departure emphasizes a drastic shift in Georgia's film industry, which Wall Street Journal reports had nearly a 50% drop in production spending. So that means like people, if I'm a crew member, I'm out of work. Because they're gonna pick I would say the crew over in the UK are gonna get all the gigs. If I'm living in Georgia, I'm not getting work. Child, you probably ain't gonna get work if you was on a Tyler Perry movie set. Because he tried to do everything. Which is why his movies usually end up looking like shit. And I don't understand how you been making movies for 20 years. You still look like an amateur directed it. They also went on to say Marvel isn't the only studio refocusing its production efforts in the UK. The Greta Gerwig directed Barbie production took place extensively at the Warner Brothers Studios lot in Hertfordshire, north of London. While exterior scenes were filmed in LA, the majority of the production was done in the UK. The film alone added £80 million to the UK's economy. Now, with the Marvel movie production budget averaging around $190 million, moving the majority of its operations out of Georgia greatly diminishes job opportunities for local workers that will mark a noticeable decline in production spending. So yeah, y'all kind of cut corners and save money at the behest of other people who are going to lose out on work. But then you want to know something? This is also Georgia's fault because y'all was sitting there and taking jobs from other people. Like when LA was too expensive, Georgia was like, okay, we're going to build our studios, whatever the case is, and we're going to bring all that stuff over here, and y'all can come over here because of the tax breaks and all the other stuff. And now, all that stuff don't last forever. So while y'all was sitting here eating good and sitting pretty and basking and swimming in all the dough, now you're getting a taste of your own medicine because you was taking jobs from other people. So now the Brits is taking jobs from the Americans. So they said Georgia was nicknamed the Hollywood of the South due to its prosperous film and television industry. Marvel's departure has a direct impact on local jobs. Since the labor strikes, Hollywood has yet to fully recover due to its pre-strike levels. Many families working within the entertainment industry have faced hardship and were forced to look for other opportunities. And didn't I hear also that this is also going to affect the movie industry as a whole, meaning that, post-COVID, because everybody was sitting there thinking, and people, I guess Hollywood still got in their mind that the film industry is going to recover. Like, oh, people are going to go back to the movies and blah, blah, blah. No, I feel like those that, like, once the day and date, the streaming thing, and now you've already trained people to wait 45 days for a movie to pop up, or less, or in some cases, less than a month. To, oh, if the movie, and if I waited a couple of weeks, the movie will already be out on digital, and it'll cost me like $25, $30, or some of you pirate it if you can find a really good version of it on the internet. I'll pay the 25, but we're gonna act like we're demure and mindful, and we're respectable people. We actually pay for our products, and we're not pirating. Even though I know some of y'all do, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying we're just gonna be good in this particular topic. But when you go in and you pay your $25 or $30, or whatever the case is, for a specific movie, it's like I can rent the movie for $25. If I've got a whole big family of people at home, I couldn't afford to take everybody to see Lilo and Stitch. The movie comes out on the thing. I could sit and watch it at home, and then it's me, my wife, the 5 kids I got, order some pizza from Domino's, and get some snacks or whatever the case is, and we sit up here and have a ball watching this movie on my big screen 80-inch TV with surround sound. So that's the way everybody's looking at it. Like, people tricking their own houses out to be like a movie theater, and I'd rather the unruly stay at home and do that versus coming into the movies and disturbing my peace, because then I'm gonna get pissed. So it's unfortunate this is going on and stuff with the fact that they're sending movies and jobs. Well, they are sending movies, the jobs to make these movies overseas, and we're losing out on opportunities because of, I don't know. Is it tariffs? Is it the economy? Is it like, I feel like there needs to be a deeper dive into this situation rather than this, we're just shipping things down because we don't want to pay for health care of our American constituents. And because we can't subsidize medical expenses, and because it's cheaper overseas to work people versus it's more expensive. Like, everything, why is everything in America expensive? I just don't understand. We don't make nothing. We basically, everything is built on the cheap. Everything comes on the cheap. We just get everything from overseas. We don't create nothing in America. And it's sad because corporations are so busy trying to be cheap and cut corners. And and now this is the result. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Marvel Studios taking a lot of the jobs and moving them over to the UK because, cheaper labor and universal health care. They don't want to be paying all that money out of their pocket to make sure y'all don't get sick, or if there's an injury or whatever. The insurance, the people's insurance covered, not us. We don't want to cover all of that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And I love Amy Madigan. I did not know who that lady was until I saw her as Aunt Gladys in Weapons, but she definitely turned it. And it'll be interesting if Weapons does get Oscar nominated. Like, even the performance, you don't have to nominate the movie, but if you actually took Amy Madigan and nominated her for an Oscar just for the part, I would like to see that. But the Oscar people, they're such snobs when it comes to certain type of performances and genre and the respect of certain genres and all of that stuff. So we'll see if they actually go there with that. Yeah, all right now. Let's keep on the whole Marvel conversation. And let's talk about Beau DeMayo, who has been in the news again lately. And y'all know we like Beau DeMayo over here, a little fine himself. But he, running off his mouth, talking about and I noticed he's been very critical about the Marvel, the MCU, that sort of thing over on his socials. He's not as always pouncing on them. I just feel like whenever he does, the media's, will bring it up. But I've seen him make relatively positive, comments on some stuff. I was over there earlier today, and I was seeing like he was giving good praise to the new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, because there's been rumors going around about Spider-Man that there's going to be a bunch of villains in the movie. But, and I'm like, why y'all putting so many people up in here? Like, let's not overcrowd it, whatever the case is. But the rumor is there's going to be a montage scene, I believe, in the beginning. This is not necessarily confirmed, but there's a rumor going around, so we're just saying it, that there's going to be a montage scene of him, like, fighting different villains in the movie. So there's going to be that in the whole sequence. And Beau DeMayo gave, like, positive comments on it. So he's not always just literally in here being negative. But he did open up about X-Men 97 and Kevin Feige and, the drama with that. So shout out to Complex for this story. Ousted X-Men 97 writer Beau DeMayo has slammed Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios for allegedly failing to support the animated series. Earlier this year, it was reported that Marvel terminated DeMayo for egregious misconduct, allegedly involving the screenwriter having an OF account. Upon his firing, DeMayo took to his IG story to reveal that his X-Men 97 credits for the second season have been stripped, calling it a troubling pattern that had followed him through his work in the upcoming action thriller Blade, whenever that gets off the damn ground. Now, but when a Twitter follower asked about DeMayo's faith in Marvel Studios' Mutant Saga, the writer answered candidly in a lengthy thread. Among his complaints were the fictional characters from the Fox franchise were deceased, but were being resurrected to manufacture artificial interest to generate interest after the Feige and MCU alleged decade-long flailing of frequent failures. Wait, what movies fail? I mean, we talked about the ones that didn't do all that well over here. But he said this. He said, like, I don't mean to be a hater, but who looks at this and says this is the care and respect that's and serious thinking that the X-Men characters deserve? Hell, who looks at this and says this is competent leadership from a studio that is in no way alarming? So yeah, he did like this long post on his page. It was like, a follower asked me if I had faith in Marvel Studios Mutant Saga, and I clicked away and lost the message. So hopefully they see this. But also I get asked this a lot, so I want to make a larger post that may piss some of you off. I'm sorry in advance. First, the X-Men are so much bigger than any one creative, myself included. Would I have loved to write, direct, steer in the live action films? Of course. But I have great faith that there are amazing artists out there who have amazing visions and stories to tell with the X-Men. Now, do I have faith in the MCU's Mutant Saga? Short answer, not yet, no. And let me walk you through why, so you don't think I'm just being a hater, which is basically what a lot of people always feel like. Oh, if you speak on something or you put something out there, oh, you're a hater. I'm like, no, if I didn't give a damn, if I wasn't passionate about some of the things that I talk about, I wouldn't talk about it. If I don't want, and it's the same thing that I feel like applies to when you talk about certain celebrities, when you raise concern for people, even if they're your faves, if I didn't give a damn, I wouldn't talk about it. And I think that's where he's coming from with it. But then I'm also getting on him with some of the things. Let's just go through what he went through. He said, X-Men requires planning, deep planning to pull them off and make them resonate. You also have to be very mindful of how you're laying out their story and the way in which audiences will experience the story. You also need to suppress your ego to make it your own and focus on meeting the mutants on their terms, which means deeply respecting their canon and the emotional investment that fans have in that action. With this in mind, this is the start of Marvel Studios' Mutant Saga. And then he went on to say, like, I don't mean to be a hater, but who looks at this and says this is the care and respect and serious thinking that the X-Men characters deserve? Hell, who looks at this and says this is the competent leadership from a studio that is in no way alarming? Kevin is introducing new concepts like adamantium and mutant Miss Marvel while simultaneously recycling old Fox characters, all before telling us they're going to reboot everything anyway? Like, what the fuck? Next, let's talk about how Kevin and Nate and Marvel talk about the one thing that's come out of Marvel that was universally loved. Oh, right, they don't. In fact, Kevin and his vaunted parliament at Marvel didn't even attend hashtag X-Men 97's premiere. One of the crew members was in the elevator with Lou the day of the premiere and mentioned it, and Lou had no idea what he was talking about. Also notice how everyone at Marvel talks like Deadpool and Wolverine put X-Men back into the modern zeitgeist. Sorry, that was hashtag X-Men 97, and even Ryan Reynolds has acknowledged it. And it cuts off at one point, As he was saying, sadly, Kevin Feige and his sycophants hated that what I crested with my. I guess he was trying to say that they, hated what he was doing with the show and they got envious. But it's like if you're a queer person of color, which he is, and you have a passion for the X-Men franchise, which does resonate with a lot of the others. And maybe there's some white folks that relate to X-Men in some sort of way, but if you're talking about the deep rootedness of like being treated like the other and discrimination and all of this stuff, that's something that Black people can relate to. That's something that women can relate to. That's something queer people can relate to. That's something trans people can relate to. That's something anybody who, as I said, is not white, cisgender, and male can relate to. He also said that one of the final straws for him was Marvel rejecting to throw an X-Men 97 wrap party, which the showrunner said he paid $7,000 for out of pocket. And then said one of the many final straws for me was Kevin and the studio leadership not attending the premiere to thank or show support for the cast and crew who busted their ass working 7 days a week for 3 years to make the show what it was. And also the studio declined to do a wrap party to celebrate the show's success in May. Who pays $7,000 out of his one pocket, not one pocket, for the wrap party for the crew? That would be me. And even somebody in the comments was like, someone sounds like you actually cared about making a good product. And then he also said this, because I told it was a lot. So he went and said, a rap party is typically thrown by a studio to celebrate and reward. Man, who doesn't know what a rap party is? Basically, a rap party, I can tell you this, but I even have to read it. Like a rap party is basically like when you're done with the show, it's sort of like you're celebrating that the show is wrapped, it's done, you're giving everybody their congratulations, their flowers. So it's just like, it's like your little, like a Christmas party at the end of the year. So it's like anytime you do an event or a show, whatever the case is, it's a rap party they throw. It's like you're celebrating the end of a great season that you're hoping will be a great season of a show. So then he also went and said, despite the critical acclaim, hashtag X-Men 97 received Marvel Studios' decline to throw the crew a wrap party to celebrate the fact that we had, with barely any studio level support, single-handedly halted Kevin and the studio's ambitious downward spiral using one of the most difficult to adapt franchises, never mind a cartoon. So, even eventually, before the show aired, Marvel employees were reaching out to me asking how I was able to make a show this good given where the studio was and how it's the best thing the studio has done. With their praise, I noticed more and more that I was becoming a threat and regret to studio leadership. And this is what I don't understand. If somebody is making you money, if you're doing a good show, why would you hate on that? Why would you be jealous that the fact that you have somebody in here and there? I'm about to get vapid. When you got somebody that look like Beau DeMayo, where he's good looking, the body is on point, and if he's good at his job or whatever, why would you get rid of him? Unless, like they were saying, that there was some misconduct and things of that nature that was going on, and that's what they said. But at the end of the day, this is something that he has to prove in his court case, which I could have sworn that that case is ongoing. But the thing I don't get about Beau, and I like that he's spilling all this tea, and here's the thing. Beau, I love you. I would even like to do a show with you, like a once a week thing where you want to come on and talk about like a podcast or something. I feel like either you do a podcast on your own and spill tea, because it does feel like a hit dog hollering or you're crying wolf in a lot of situations, or I'll come on and do a show with you. We can talk about things. I don't know if I want to, I mean, if you're open to it, if you're able to, you can come on and do an interview and talk about this ongoing case. But if it's something that you can't be talking about, because he hasn't really talked about the legalities of things. He said a little things here and there, but he always goes in and overtly criticizes Disney in this whole situation. And I feel like all this stuff you spewing would work perfectly in a way of a podcast. Similar, like you could be the Willem Belli of the MCU. Because remember, she got kicked off of RuPaul's Drag Race and has made a career doing a podcast. I'll be Alaska. You could be Willem. You come on, you be the messy sidekick. You go and say all the things that I'm making a play and everything on air. So if y'all know him, fan, I'll let him know. I'm saying all this on the air. It's like either interview or you could do it like a once a week show where it's like we talk comics, we talk movie news, all this other stuff, and you give your little behind the scenes opinion on that, because who wouldn't want to see a show? And I don't feel like there's enough of us going around. A lot of people who are homosexuals that have a passion for comic books, comic book movies, and are talking about it in a way, openly, because a lot of the podcasters and stuff I see is usually like straight dudes or people who say they're straight, but not really. But openly, yes, there are queer people out here who love comic books and comic book movies. So I would definitely like to see that from him. But it does feel like, in a way, like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, you're coming across as like a jilted lover who got dumped, and you mad because that man that dumped you did you dirty, and you want to make everybody know how bad that man did you, and you want to make him hurt as much as he hurt you. Like, it feels like you feel like Jennifer Lopez trying to hurt Ben Affleck. That's what they're trying to get on. When he strung you along the whole time, and then 2 years into the marriage, you're like, I don't want to deal with your ass no more. Now you bad, and you jilted, and you want to do some santeria shit, and you want to come and do some voodoo that you do and put it on that person. That's what it's feeling like. So, I like, as I said before, I like Beau. I want him to, I like the fact that he's speaking out, but at the same time, also, it does feel like that you should let your attorneys handle the situation, or somebody needs to advise you with, like, why are you doing so much talking? But I guess, also, if people weren't picking his brain on social media, if people were going in and just like always trying to drag him into stuff and asking his opinion about the MCU, X-Men, whatever the case is, then he wouldn't be out here speaking. Like, I like Jake Schreier. I love what he did with Thunderbolts. I feel like the reason why they picked him is because he's good at balancing a multitude of characters. Now, in regards to trying to capture the essence of X-Men and the tone and what that's all about, that is to be seen if he could possibly do that. But me personally, I always felt like it either has to be a homosexual or a black person, like Ryan Coogler. Like, I would have liked for him to direct an X-Men movie, but Ryan is going to be busy with Black Panther 3, so he can't do it. But if it was other choice, I would have either liked an openly queer person, like how they did, minus the alleged abusing of young people, Bryan Singer, allegedly. But it was like, I would either like that or a black person to direct it. Because it was like, I love what he did with X-Men 97. I love the show. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with season 2, whenever we get that. But, animation takes forever for y'all to get together. So there was a whole lot more that he went on to say. But I'm like, I feel like y'all got the gist of it all. And they said that season 2 of X-Men 97, I don't know if they're calling it X-Men 97, it's going to be X-Men 98. But it's supposed to come out next year. Now, in regards to the whole OF thing, there's a lot of people out here who got OnlyFans accounts and things of that nature. I don't know why it's a problem for Beau to have it. I mean, the man got a nice body. He has no problem being half naked or wholly naked, because I've seen them pictures. And look, you said you was going to do some collabs with some corn stars, so I don't know. Well, and another thing that I was worrying about too was like, okay, so you had your little gripe with the MCU. Do y'all think that with him speaking out so much against Disney and Marvel and the MCU, whatever you want to call them, that it will affect him getting work elsewhere, like at another studio? Like, nobody's gonna want to mess with him. That he's been blacklisted in a way because he's talking too much. So I don't know. I like the talk because it's grist for the mill, but I also worry because I'm like, I want you to keep working, and I want you to be able to, like, you are someone who's immensely talented, and I hope that the things that the MCU said is not true, and that it's affecting your ability to work, because you have these alleged misconduct things that they were saying that you had. So, and I don't know why that's a shock for Hollywood. Hollywood a lot of people behind the scenes do inappropriate things. And I'm not talking about Beau DeMayo, but I'm talking about some of these producers that be out here with the quid pro quos and the sexual harassment and sleeping with actors and stuff to give them gigs or a star role in a movie. So I don't know why all of a sudden, everybody got a moral compass up in the movie industry. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding what Beau DeMayo was saying? Is that his final straw towards Kevin Feige and the MCU, and his overall thoughts about X-Men and things of that nature? Like, whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. The others mutants. He said, unless the allegations turn out to be true, I deserve the right to change my Okay, he said Bryan Singer and Toss Ryan. Oh, well, We ain't heard nothing about Ryan Murphy. But if there was any tea that came out, I would not be surprised. That's all I'll say on that. Hold on a second, because I feel like this light is making me look a little too bright. I feel like I was looking a little orange. We do a little lighting adjustment. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to the next topic and let's get into this wrestler tea. So I came across this article on the Hollywood Reporter where they decided to put together a list of wrestlers who made the transition from the ring to Hollywood. And, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, John Cena, Dave Bautista becoming three of the most successful wrestlers currently reigning to transition into Hollywood and really prove themselves to be not only good actors, but box office draws. And I've always been talking about how, like, Dave Bautista, to me, has really shown out of all of these other wrestlers who transition into the world of acting that he really wants to learn, he really wants to get better, and he really wants to prove that he can get out here and perform and really put in the work. And he has put in the work over the years. So how important I want to say is this: in the past decade, they said Dwayne and John Cena, and there are plenty of other examples, a bunch of their predecessors. So I don't feel like reading all of that. I guess they decided to bring in people like Hulk Hogan, which he was not a good actor. But if it wasn't for Hulk, we wouldn't have The Rock or these other people. So he definitely did he was making roles and making movies and stuff in the 80s. So they did bring in other names too. They had some honorable mentions. So we'll go into those. Stacy Keibler. Stacey Keibler, wasn't she on like one of them? Wasn't she on like Full House or one of them sitcoms? I could have sworn that oh yeah, she's done. I could have sworn like Stacey Keibler did sitcoms. Wasn't she also on Home Improvement? Like I feel like that's what she was on one of those shows. But they have Stacey Keibler, Randy Orton, CM Punk, Mike the Miz Mizanin. I've always liked Mike the Miz. Like he went from the real world to wrestling, and then I thought that Mike the Miz would actually kind of be sort of in the same vein of like a John Cena. Like I thought he would do it, and then he kind of went off and was doing John Cena-esque type movies. What was the movie that John Cena first starred in with Kimber from Nip Tuck? He did the sequels to those. And so they had MJF, who was in Happy Gilmore 2, Macho Man Randy Savage, Mercedes Moné, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bill Goldberg, Diamond Dallas Page, Paul Triple H Levesque. I think Triple H was in the last time I saw Triple H in something, and I'm sure he's been in a lot of movies. He was in Blade Trinity. Becky Lynch, Chris Jericho, and more. So they had all those in there. I forgot who the wrestler is, but they said they were supposed to have this female wrestler. She's supposed to be in Terrifier 4. So let's go through the names real quick. I'm not going to sit here and read every little one, but I'll tell y'all who they have is in the top 10. So number 10, they picked Andre the Giant, which y'all know he was in The Princess Bride, which I remember that movie. I grew up loving that movie, and I remember when he was in that. And I used to be a huge Andre the Giant fan growing up. Then they had Jesse Ventura, who I've always liked Jesse Ventura. Like, I've liked him as a wrestler, but also because he was in Predator and he's done a bunch of other movies. He was in The Running Man, he was in Demolition Man, he was in things of that nature. And then what really got me into Jesse Ventura was I used to watch a lot of his political stuff on TV. I forget all the channels he was on, but he had his own show at one point. And I think he had a show that's supposed to happen on MSNBC, and they did him dirty or something or another. So I like that he had very much progressive Democratic political ideologies and stuff, and that's what that drew me even more to Jesse Ventura, because I was like, he preaching to the choir with a lot of stuff he's saying. Then number 8, they had Paul Wright, as you know, with The Big Show. And then, he's done a bunch of other things. They said he was in Waterboy, Jingle All the Way, and The Big Show Show. And then at number 7, we had Hulk Hogan. As y'all know, he's been in a lot of movies. He was in Rocky 3, No Holds Barred, Thunder in Paradise, Mr. Nanny. Which, look, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan and Mr. Nanny, we wouldn't have had, like, Dwayne Johnson with the was it? No, it wasn't Dwayne Johnson. It was Vin Diesel. He did The Pacifier. Didn't Dwayne Johnson do like a kids movie? Was it like The Tooth Fairy or something or another? I think that if it wasn't for him, there would be, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, I know people say the things, he's a racist, all this other stuff. But to put that aside, he definitely was the go-to big kahuna when it came to wrestlers turned actors back in the 80s. Then they had Kevin Nash at number 6. And number 5, they have Adam Copeland, who was the Edge. He's actually good looking though. But we all knew that. I was like, what was he in? Oh yeah. The funny thing is when I was looking at him, when I used to watch him on Haven, I was looking at him like, why do I know him? But then it didn't dawn on me at the time. He was on a show called Vikings, which I absolutely loved. Ragnar Hallbrook. And he did, as I said, Haven, which is I think it was a Canadian show. They used to come on USA or in the Sci-Fi Channel. That's what it was on. He also was in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So he's in that. And number 5, Roddy Piper. I love Roddy Piper. First of all, he's in one of my all-time favorite movies, John Carpenter movies. They Live. He's like, I came to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. I know I done messed up the line. It's actually the other way around. I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. But that's always been like one of my favorite iconic lines. I love They Live. Not only because, him being child, you're gonna make me want to watch that movie tonight when I'm done with this show. But every now and again, I always revisit that movie. It's like one of my all-time favorite. And I love John Carpenter. He's literally one of the directors I studied when I was in film school. So when it was like we had to pick a director, like one of my classmates who I'm still friends with today, Alex, he picked Alfred Hitchcock. I had John Carpenter. And so one of the many movies between Halloween and The Thing and all the other stuff, They Live is like one of my favorites. And I think it's because of the social commentary in that film as well. And I even think with the way the world is now, that movie deserves a remake. So yeah, he was in that movie. Didn't he pass away? He was also in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know if y'all ever seen that show, but I freaking love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. One of my roommates actually introduced me to that. And the stuff that they put in that show, I never laughed so hard in my life. So if you like shows like South Park and all the other stuff, you would definitely love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I love Danny DeVito. So that was another reason why I love that show. Now, number 3, which, no shade, I thought he should have been number 2. John Cena. So, John Cena has definitely over the years proved himself as a force to be reckoned with in film. He just recently had a movie that came out with him and Idris Elba where they were playing he was the president. The prime minister was Idris Elba. And then they had Nick Jonas' wife, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, was in it. So that movie's doing really well on Netflix. No, not Netflix. It's Prime Video. I don't know. I always get all them shits mixed up. But I like John Cena. Especially like with a lot of movies that he's been doing. I'm looking forward to Peacemaker. When does that come out? I think that comes out this week, if not already. But he's in Peacemaker. I'm looking forward to Peacemaker season 2. And he's definitely proving himself. Now, at number 2, we have Dwayne Johnson. Which, yes, he is the most successful actor on the list. He's one of the actors who made the most money as a wrestler turned actor. However, Dwayne Johnson has made a career playing the same person over and 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 over again. Which is why I can see why he's at number 2. Because, well, if you pretty much look at the picture, it's telling you who's the first one, the second one, and the third. The picture is the giveaway. So, Dwayne Johnson, box office draw for a long period of time. You already knew he was like box office Viagra, I think was the term that they called him. Because remember, G.I. Joe, even though G.I. Joe Retaliation wasn't that good of a movie, he basically helped that film be better in a way. When the Fast and the Furious franchise was struggling a little bit, when they brought him on, he basically breathed new life into the franchise, which I think is what pissed Vin Diesel off. But Vin Diesel always came across as some guy with a huge ego that never appreciated all the work that he was getting. He always thought he was bigger and better than the product. And the people went and reminded him, like, sir, let's not get a big old head. And people brought his ass back down to earth. So Dwayne has done some really good movies until he did Black Adam. and a bunch of other movies that kind of was like, eh. But for the most part, Dwayne Johnson was giving us our life. But I think now, because we've been crowing, well, I'll say me, I've been crowing that, sir, I need you to kind of stretch and really prove that you could do something besides giving the same character over and over and over in a movie. And I feel like he's planning on doing that with this A24, the Smashing Machine film that he has coming out. Where he's playing I think it was an MMA fighter or something or another. Based off the scenes that I've seen and the trailers and stuff, because usually when I go to the movies, that's the only time that trailer is always popping up when I'm watching a movie. And that Smashing Machine movie actually does look really good. I don't know if that was a wig or his actual hair, but that hair was kind of a distraction. And I guess it's because I'm used to seeing a bald. But to me, I feel like now Dwayne is at a place in his life where he wants to prove himself to be a force to be reckoned with as an actor. But I think that may be becoming, maybe that's gotten to him, or maybe that's why he's going there because of our number one pick, which would be Dave Bautista. Now, when Dave Bautista first came on the line, I feel like Dave Bautista decided to take a different approach. He was someone who was like, who came humble from the beginning and was like, I'm not the best actor. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm willing to learn. So he took the time, took some classes, learned the ropes, worked with directors who knew how to hide his weaknesses and uplift his strengths. And so many of the directors he's worked with, from damn it, I had them all in my head too. So the M. Night Shyamalan movie, what was it called? Cabin in the Woods. He was really good in that. And he even shocked the hell out of himself. He said like the monologues and stuff he had to do, that was the most he's ever spoken in a movie. Working with Denis Villeneuve, I feel like brought a lot out of him as well. When he worked with James Gunn in the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, yeah, you made him a little too comedic in a lot of situations, made him basically the comedy relief of the franchise. But I definitely feel like a lot of the directors and a lot of the people he's worked with have definitely brought out the best of him. I even loved his small little part in Blade Runner 2049. I didn't want Kay to kill him, but I liked the role that he played in that movie. And then he did the movie where he was like a spy and he had the kid and all those stuff, the two little movies that came out on Prime Video. So Dave Bautista has really proven that, you know what, I'm a force to be reckoned with as an actor. And he's got two other movies coming. Well, he's got two movies that I'm really looking forward to seeing him in. One, he's doing Roadhouse 2. I believe he's playing the villain in that. That story recently came out. And then damn, I forgot the name of the other one. Oh, Highlander. He's doing a new Highlander with he's playing the villain part, which I'm actually excited about. Henry Cavill is playing the Highlander. There can only be one. And he's playing the Clancy Clancy Brown. I don't know why I can remember his name, but I always love Clancy Brown. I love Clancy Brown ever since he did Bad Boys. And I'm talking about the one with Sean Penn and Esai Morales, not the one with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Because there was a Bad Boy before that one. So he's playing the Clancy Brown role in the new Highlander film, which I'm actually looking forward to. So Dave Bautista's already proven that he can carry a movie, that he's a good actor. He doesn't need to prove that anymore because we know that he's capable of it. Now he can just sit and go through the motions of, let me just have some fun with some of these roles. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in the new Highlander movie and all the other future films that he has coming out down the pipeline. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you agree with this top 10 wrestlers turned actors list, courtesy of The Hollywood Reporter? Me personally, like I said, I would have put John Cena number 2 and Dwayne Johnson number 3, but I feel like they were only going to put Dwayne Johnson number 2 because Dwayne Johnson, even though, yeah, he's kind of been going through the motions and just collecting the checks as one of the biggest names in Hollywood, he's still a smidge above John Cena in the department of Hollywood good graces and getting things made and all that other stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Forbes most successful, Cena followed by Rock comeback. Not the Rock killed DC. Well, look, I'm glad y'all blaming somebody besides freaking James Gunn, because everybody keeps coming out and saying it's James Gunn, Ronan, and Henry Cavill. That ain't my Superman. You know, all the same BS that they've been saying. But yeah, with the whole thing going around behind the scenes with the producers that was trying to sabotage the situation, y'all gaslit Henry Cavill thinking he was coming back to the DCEU or whatever they was planning on doing with that. When y'all were basically the ink ain't even dry on the James Gunn, Peter Safran situation. It didn't dry on the contract yet, and the way they just was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna give you a part and everything," and now he's up here talking about, "Oh yeah, I'm back as Superman," and then everybody's like, nah. And now I gotta go in and be the bad guy and clean stuff up that these sneaky people, these sneaky links behind the scenes was trying to pull with that." So, and then also Dwayne Johnson coming in with his mess because he wanted a Black Adam Superman, you know, situation to happen, but Black Adam bombed, so that wasn't happening. Cena could have been higher up on the list. I appreciate what John Cena shows because he shows his butt. Well, the word is that his character is confirmed to be bisexual in, or as I like to say, bisexual in the new season. And I'm like, okay, well, we do have fluid superheroes. I don't know why do people actually look at superheroes and think heterosexuality? Like, really? With those outfits? Dave Bautista was in the Chris Pine-led Star Trek in a non-speaking part other than Grunt. It's been so long since I've seen Star Trek, so I'm going to take your word for it. I was like, he probably was in that. And it's funny because if I would have went and watched it and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Look at Dave Bautista in this movie. Love Batista in Cabin in the Woods. Great acting. He was gentle, yet his physical presence was intimidating. And that's usually always, and you know what? That's why I always hear stories about guys who are like Dave Bautista's size, where they always look intimidating. And I think he said this in an interview. He was like, oh, he has to, saying force means like you're being fake, but he says that he always has to be mindful to be gentle and stuff with people because people look at him as intimidating with him being a big guy and a tattoo. He lost all the weight. He's being and the tattoos and stuff. So people look at him as intimidating, but it's like when you come up to him, he's the nicest person in the world. So it's funny how when you get in that mode, you always have to try to be like that because people will look at your size and think like, oh, this guy's gonna kick my ass if I look at him too long. So yes, they did. They definitely did Henry Cavill wrong. John Cena was hilarious in the movie with Zac Efron on Amazon, something called Ricky Stenicki. I haven't even seen that. He said China should be number one. China dead. Not you over here talking about some damn China. What did China do besides Playboy and the surreal life? I was gonna say his mother's also a lesbian. Dave's mother is a progressive thinker. His mother's a lesbian. Love him. Oh yeah, he's very much a LG. He is definitely a queer ally. So that's another thing I love about Dave Bautista. Uh, well, that doesn't count. You know, Hollywood's all about the legitimacy. Even if behind the scenes they be doing adult stuff. I was like, well, that was a good list. Let me have some wrestler fans up in here. All right, y'all, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Pussycat Dolls, because it looked like Nicole Scherzinger, while she getting all these accolades for the Emmys, not the Emmys, the Tonys, because she won for Sunset Boulevard. That's all done. Who knows what she's about to do next? But she seems to still be tangled up in this crazy lawsuit with PCD. And according to Us Weekly, they said that she's been unable to finalize a settlement with Pussycat Dolls founder Robert Anton over the group's scrap reunion tour, and the two may be heading to trial. Now, on August 12th, Anton's lawyer, David Blau, filed court documents pleading for permission to drop her as a client. He claimed, quote, irreconcilable differences have arisen between counsel and client, so the counsel can no longer effectively represent Anton 64 and her companies. Probably because she ain't got no damn money. And they said a hearing has been set for September 10th on Anton's lawyer's motion. Angela's lawyer dropping comes weeks after the parties informed the court they were struggling to finalize the settlement paperwork after reaching a tentative deal to end their legal battle. On July 24th, a hearing was held when Angela's lawyer told the court, as of today's date, the parties have not reached a settlement in this matter. Angela's lawyer revealed the news only weeks after the parties told the court a settlement in principle had been reached. A hearing has been set for October where the judge will set the trial date if no settlement was reached. In May, Antonin I don't know why I wanted to call her Schwarzenegger. Scherzinger, who's 47, explained they needed additional time to hash out the paperwork. Angela's lawyer explained the parties and their counsel and reps are continuing their efforts to resolve this matter and have spent substantial time negotiating terms and various written agreements to solve their dispute. However, due to professional commitments of the parties and the multifaceted structure in terms of settlement, the parties required additional time to complete the settlement. Jesus, what is taking so damn long? All it is the fact that y'all were supposed to do this damn tour. Something pretty much happened. I guess it's because there's always been rumors going around that Nicole is very difficult. But I don't know. Was it specifically her or was it that the people behind the scenes? Because we know the notorious angle that happens in groups, be it a boy group, a girl group, whatever the case is, you get people behind the scenes that want to put the singers against each other. Sometimes the lead singer could be a diva too, because they're getting that smoke blowing up their behind. And I don't know if Nicole was that girl in so many ways. But there was this article that I came across, shout out to the Daily Mail, where they was talking about a resurfaced 2012 Behind the Music interview, now recirculating as the series marks its 28th anniversary. Nicole dropped the bombshell, claiming she carried the vocals while the rest of the Pussycat Dolls was sidelined from the recording process, where she went and said, quote, "I was the one singing," even alleging the other dolls hadn't heard the tracks until after she'd already laid them down. That resurfaced clip has gone viral all over again, reigniting fan backlash and stirring up an age-old debate about just how much of the PCD was really a group effort. So yeah, they pretty much, the story always was that Nicole was going around singing all the parts. They had Melody come and do her little yang yang or whatever the case was. And then, but for the most part, Nicole was doing everything. She was doing the lead, she was doing the background, she was doing the, all the, the stacking, she was doing all the stuff. And then the other girls was coming in basically just being background dancers, which is kind of like what I thought that Pussycat Dolls was from the beginning. Because Pussycat Dolls, I always looked at them as they were this burlesque group that were going around LA, playing at the Viper Club and all these other places. And they would have a guest singer like Pink, Christina Aguilera, Fergie. I even think they had Paris Hilton at one point. They come in singing other people's songs, and you have the Pussycat Dolls dancing behind them. So I thought that's what this was. That it would just be y'all had maybe a singer or two come in and be do the vocal parts, and then the other girls just be in the background dancing. And you can have them be like, for Lopez, or hold up the mic and just be up in here miming along like they singing the parts while they throwing their leg up in the air and doing their little tricks and things. You could have had them do that. But that wasn't apparently what was in the cards. Because to me, if I was putting this group together, that's kind of where my mindset would have been. But I'm not Robin, so I don't know where her head was at. But that to me seemed like what was the tea. So now they also wanted to say in the video, Nicole nervously laughed before spilling tea. Excuse me, that rocked the fandom all over again, saying, "Oh man, I hope I don't get in trouble for the stuff I say. I'll never forget I finished the album PCD." She continued in the confessional, "and we brought the girls into the studio and we played it for them. And that was the first time they had ever heard the music." Nicole doubled down, making sure no one misunderstood her point. She letting y'all know, bitch, I was the one singing all the damn parts. And what? "Do you understand what I'm saying? We played the music for the Pussycat Dolls. It's the first time they ever heard the songs." So, child, the people was up in the comments and they said this. They said, one person said, "as if we didn't know she was the main one. Hell, she made it known that if one of the other girls had a little part, she wasn't happy." Another person went on to say, we had all known about Miss Nicole, but this episode cemented how much of a menace she was to those girls, and we know she was the reason the reunion fell apart." Oh yeah, they went in on her from this resurfaced video. And this was the 18th when all of this went, viral of this month. Another person said, this truly was such a nasty thing to divulge. LOL. I don't think Nicole ever got shorted on credit for her work in PCD, but I guess she wasn't satisfied. Yeah, because I would have just took this to my grave. Or if the girls broke up, I'd be like, okay, now this is the tea. And since y'all asked, I'll give y'all the stuff. But not when you're in the midst of the group and y'all getting a little behind the music moment and you spilling all of this stuff. It was like your ego was too big for you. And I think she got, what's the word? Nicole got her comeuppance. Because remember when she tried to go solo and none of y'all cared? And don't get me wrong, she had some bops on her solo album, but the people didn't care. Another person went on to say, I still don't get the Nicole lead singer hate thing. She's not the first and she won't be the last to sing mostly all the vocals in the group. Why does she get so much flack for being honest and unabashed about it? Another person went on to say, I'm not sure why people are mad at her when she did all the work. So yeah, there was we had the people that was going in and dragging her, but on this show, we like to point out both sides. So there's gonna be people that are team Nicole, and there's some people's gonna go in and let have on her, feeling like sound like your ego is getting the best of you. But here's the thing: one of the things we can't deny is that Nicole is an immense talent. She definitely has turned it on Broadway with Sunset Boulevard. Every time she got on stage and performed, I never got the opportunity to see. I kind of wish I did, but I've always heard the stories. Every time she got on stage and performed, she got a 10-minute standing ovation. So Nicole is definitely an immense talent. It's just sad and ugly how this industry can be when it comes to people who just want to make it as a pop star, people who just want to not be poor and do the thing that they love and travel the world and to perform on a live stage. And you get all these women in a room together and there's egos and it's this and it's that. And then you got people working behind the scenes that's stirring the pot because they getting off on it. And I'm like, what is the pleasure y'all getting? Because if this group breaks up, you out of a job. And now you got to find a new one. I would think you would want to stay on this as long as humanly possible and not be getting caught up in the shenanigans of it all. So I hope that they work it out. Y'all settle in some sort of way. I remember they were supposed to have the reunion tour. I like that song React that they came out with. It was the comeback track. I was living for it. I was living for the outfits. And they also said that the entertainer also had other personal professional commitments that would make her appearing in court unreasonably burdensome on her and some irreparable harm to third parties, including ticket holders who pay as much as $400 to see her, and the people and businesses that finance and work on the production. So they were trying to say that um she couldn't appear in person because she was on Broadway. Because Robin wanted her to appear in person. It's like, sis, I'm in New York. You're in LA. If the court case comes out, no, we could do via satellite. Like, we're in a time where technology has gotten a lot better since Pussycat Dolls was formed. So I could do something via Zoom. And I can call it, look, if y'all can have Justin Timberlake zoom in for his DUI stuff, you can have Nicole Scherzinger zoom in for this whole situation, especially if I'm in New York on Broadway performing. I ain't gonna have my understudy coming in and do something because I have legal things that I need to deal with. Bitch, you just gonna have to wait until I'm done. So the Sunset Boulevard is done. The court case is allegedly supposed to start around September. I think they said September 10th or whatever. And I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of this as it develops. I just wish they would just hurry up and settle. I honestly wish that we would have gotten PCD back, but I don't think it's ever going to come back after with all this mess that's going on between these girls. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the latest on PCD and the mess that's going on between Nicole and Anton? And I'm thinking, I guess they're going in on because Nicole was that girl in the whole group. Because it's like, if the thing is not happening, why is Nicole being singled out and the other girls are not being sued in this situation? Is it because Nicole is Pussycat Dolls, as she has stated, and people get mad over? Or is it that, Nicole was the one who just decided, okay, well, if you're not going to give me the money that I want and all this other stuff, then I'm not doing it. Because I think they said that Scherzinger, she wanted a 49% cut of the profits And then they said that she spent a ton of time on the planned tour. She obtained a $600,000 advance from Live Nation. Anson said Live Nation demanded the money back after Scherzinger backed out. And then they had to reschedule. And then Anson claimed Scherzinger refused to perform on the new dates. The singer demanded the deal be modified to provide her with 75% of the profits and complete creative control. And Anson felt that Scherzinger was trying to extort her. It's like, bitch, why you trying to take more of the money? Like, I was giving you 49. Now you want 7. Now you want damn near 80%. Like, no, you're not getting 75% and I'm in 25 and I'm getting 25 when I'm the founder of Pussycat Dolls. And yeah, you a big name and everything, but you didn't create this group. You're not Beyonce. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so let me close those out. Let's see what the people are saying. Chris Pratt, Rocky bribe the Hollywood that they switch political party unless they get more. Wait, what? I don't know. Chris Pratt's an idiot. I wanted a whole thing about him yesterday. It was like, I'm gay, 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 but that Pussycat Doll video for Buttons got me excited in that biblical sinning kind of way. These girls were, yes, they were. I loved, we liked the Pussycat Dolls because of it. They were like real sexy, real confident. They were like, the Lady Marmalade chicks. So, agreed. She was PCD, and I feel like she was the face. She was the one that stood out. She was the pretty girl with the exotic features, something that people ain't really seen. Half Filipino, shout out to my people. And I think it's from Hawaii too. So, who's that? Okay, speaking of people who not my people, let's talk about Miss Jennifer. Because Miss Lopez, apparently she can't seem to catch a damn break. So now, look, she already been jilted so many different ways. The album flopped. The marriage flopped. So many things in her life has been flopping. Her movies. Except they dropped a new trailer for that Kiss of the Spider Woman today. And that looks good. I even saw one post that they said that she looked like Madonna with the blonde wig on. And Madonna from the Bad Girl music video era. That's what she was given. So now she in the news again because there's a story that's been floating around for a while, but I noticed very few people are talking about it, and it was kept on the low. But apparently it's now starting to get traction because they were like that BMG has quietly dropped Jennifer Lopez after This Is Me Now flopped. So the singer, who's 56, is now said to be an independent artist, releasing her single's birthday through a smaller company, according to The Sun. Her 2024 album, This Is Me Now, was released under BMG, the same label that represents stars like Kylie Minogue and Rita Ora. However, the publication reported that the deal was only for one album, and following disappointing sales, both parties agreed to go their separate ways. A music insider told the outlet, Jennifer is obviously massively successful and talented, but it's been hard for her to find a new label who she is on the same page with. Well, what is this page? Let's channel Kamala Harris. Let's turn the page. That's not really channel her. I'm just saying that because that was a reference. But what is the page? Like, I want to know what's the direction she wants to go with her music? Because I know y'all been clowning her lately with the live performances. Like, y'all talking about her outfit. She's half naked. It's like she's 56 years old, acting desperate on stage, throwing her behind on her backup dancers, which I'm sure they probably are homosexual. So they're not really getting all excited with all that behind, rubbing off on their crotch, but it's just performing. And her get up there to making little sexual innuendos and stuff on stage. I don't know. Did y'all see the video where she was in the middle of singing and this bug was crawling up her neck and she went and grabbed it and like flung it? She was like, it was tickling me. And I'm like, ew. But look, sometimes you can't help whatever the situation. I don't know. She might have been outside. So that's probably why I got on her neck or whatever. But so there's been just a lot of stuff going on. So I just want to know, creative wise, direction wise, where you trying to go with the music? I've been saying for the longest, ma'am, you need to focus on the European market The US don't care at this point because your Vegas residency, we did that story, is struggling to sell tickets. The Backstreet Boys, even though they got that old nutbag Brian Luttrell and his lack of vocal ability now, a part of that group, him withstanding, the Backstreet Boys are still doing well. The nostalgia era is alive and well. They're living for the Backstreet Boys. They're doing phenomenal over there at the Sphere in Vegas, which is like they added more shows. But apparently, Jennifer Lopez can't catch a break. Nobody cares about her music and stuff. And it's unfortunate. I like Jennifer as a performer. I think at her age, she still can get up there, dip it and do it and dance and perform and stuff. She's a showgirl. She's a performer. Why does she have to? She's not. This is why I hate also with people with the ageism stuff, which is like, y'all clowning her because she doesn't look like your average 56-year-old woman. She's a showgirl. She's a performer. What the hell is she supposed to get up there and do the salsa in and flip and being thrown around across the stage with dancers? She's supposed to wear a goddamn Mrs. Roper muumuu? Like, what? How do you want her to dress? Like, I don't get it. So she's going to be up there and it's hot in them damn, when you're doing them concerts. Trust and believe, I worked enough live shows. It gets hot in there. So I could totally understand when you up there on that stage and you're going to perform, this is what she would wear. Same thing with any other pop star that you look at. Taylor Swift, Madonna, all of them, they dress up there half naked. And it's because, yeah, I'm performing. It's hot as hell in here. Especially with Madonna. Madonna don't even put the damn AC on. When she performed, that should be irritating me, though. It's like, man, I don't know if this is menopause, but at her age, she's 67. I don't even think she get that anymore. I'm like, ma'am, we need to turn this air on. It's too damn hot. And I ain't gonna be sitting on this floor clamming up. But if that's what she want, that's what we gotta deal with for 2 damn hours plus. Now, they also said after her last album came out, it was decided she wouldn't continue with BMG as it wasn't the success she wanted. Well, nobody wanted to hear a girl who has the vocal range of Britney Spears in that video that has been floating around where she was singing Prince's Kiss off key. Nobody want to hear you singing ballads when you don't have the ability to carry them. Like, you're not Mariah Carey. I've been saying for the longest, stick to the rivers and the lakes. You're somebody who has like this girly voice. You can carry a tune for the most part. Stick to like something with an 808 behind you, a dance beat. And just focus on performance, dancing, all of stuff. That's your wheelhouse. You're not the best singer in the world, but you're a performer. And performers, we don't expect y'all to get up there singing like y'all Mariah or Celine. Even though I hate when there are some people out there that like to do those comparisons. Well, you're not a singer if you don't sound like Screamer for Hudson, or you don't sound like Beyonce, or you don't sound like. I'm like, not everybody. There's different categories when it comes to performers and music. Now, if you want to sing, if you fixing to sing, as I'm channeling The Color Purple, if you fixing to sing, then you go for those girls that just do that stand there for 2 damn hours hitting every goddamn note. I get bored with that. I want pomp and circumstance to go with my singing too. Don't get me wrong. I like a show where it's just, it's all about the vocals and the performance and stuff. But I also like my pomp and circumstance. And Jennifer will definitely give you that. But it does feel like a lot of times when she's been doing her live shows recently, that it has come across a bit desperate, and that it does come across like she's a woman of a certain age trying to maintain and hold on to her youth, and it does come across a bit cringe and embarrassing. But she don't care. She up there having fun. But it's not like she's doing it with a sense of irony like Katy Perry. Because that's what I get with it. It's like very tongue-in-cheek, very much don't take this itch too seriously when I worked Katy Perry's recent tour. But Jennifer, I don't know, it just feels different with her. So yeah, they were talking about her album. It only went to number 55 in the UK, but her team wants to push forward with new music. She has spent a lot of time in the studio. I did hear that birthday song. I will say this, that birthday song is kind of cute. But I think like she needs a Red One. She needs a Circuit. She needs somebody like that. Like she needs some bops. She needs somebody to really she needs to find where my European producers at? I need y'all to hit up Jennifer and tell her, give us some songs, give us some beats, give us some tracks, give us something. Get in the studio with her, really come up with some music and stop trying to sing songs that just don't feel like they're you. And that's what she needs. Because she's given us a lot of really good songs. I like Ain't It Funny. I like Play. I love Love Don't Cost a Thing. I like Hypnotico, even though it was a Tammy Chin song, but I do like Hypnotico. You know, there's a couple of bops that she's released that I like. I like On the Floor. We need more of those. So also, yeah, so they were talking about her ensembles and all the other stuff. So yeah, so shout out to you, Hannah. Oh, they also was talking about like her marriage and all this stuff with Ben Affleck. Oh, and there was another thing that I saw today too, because I wanted a Jennifer Lopez deep dive while I was putting the show together, right? Child, the people out here saying that she is basically the Puerto Rican Aunt Gladys. Now, if you've seen Weapons, you know what I'm talking about. They said Miss Mama's be out here doing spell, that she's secretly a witch, that she was doing, like she's into Santeria and all kinds of other stuff, and that was helping with her career. And there was this video that started floating around that I saw where she went on Oprah and was like, I'm very much about manifestation and like always trying to talk positive things. Like, what she says, I teach it to my kids and I do all this other positive reinforcements, all this other stuff every day. So yeah, there was rumors going around talking about that she's a witch and she was doing hexes and things. And Ohani, her first husband, was bringing up stuff about that when she was trying to do that with her career and how they try to turn her against him in their marriage. And she was using the Santeria stuff to try to save her marriage. Mind you, she was the one that was cheating with the diddler while she was married to Ohani. So allegedly. But the tea leaves don't lie, sis. Nor does the timeline. Because we're all in the same timeline. This ain't no MCU timeline. We don't do multiverses over here. Like, I pay attention to all the stuff that's going on. And yeah, the timeline was saying that you was out here laying low and spreading it wide with the diddler because you needed some hits for that album or the music you was doing when you was married to Ohani. And Ohani couldn't give you nothing. Yeah, he gave you comfort at night. But what else could he give you? And I know that got boring after a while. So yeah, one thing I hate about Daily Mail, they will sit and do like a 5-minute goddamn article just with a bunch of nothing up here. Like, get to the goddamn point. I mean, I'm exaggerating. The story was 3 minutes, but they going in about her outfits and Ben Affleck and all this. Like, I feel like y'all just take a piece of the latest stuff and just add it to old articles and try to pass it off like it's new. Come on, y'all. So yeah, that's all I got on that. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Would you like to hear new music from Jennifer Lopez? And would you also think that she, like I was saying before, like the US, they done moved on. I don't think they care about her that much. And if she does do a show, I think she needs to do smaller venues. Girl, I mean, could she do the Garden? She probably could do one night. She did do one night before, years ago, and it was a blackout that happened. I wasn't working there at the time, but from what I had heard, and I saw, oh yeah, not heard, I seen the video. Like one time, I don't know, we were doing some type of training thing, and they showed us the video, and it was like a blackout situation that happened at a show that she did in Madison Square Garden. I think she could sell out Madison Square Garden because New York, she has a big fan base here. But as far as like other arenas, I don't know if they should be able to do that. So I do think that she would be able to sell out Madison Square Garden. But I was trying to be nice. I was gonna be like, do Radio City. It's big enough. It's big-ish. Big enough. You can do Radio City. It gives the vibe that you can fit a lot more in there. Then you don't have to like struggle a little bit. Like, I don't know if you do 14, 15,000. Because I have people ask me like how many people does this place house? And I'm like, we house like 20,000 people. And that's if it's 360. Like if you're doing a Knicks or Rangers or something like that, or even like Billy Joel, he had a 360 stage. But if you do like a one with a stage where it's not 360, it's about 13, 14,000 because we have to cut off half the section. So, yeah, so that's basically that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. I'll try to give Miss Hannah for some advice. As long as she's got the ability to get up there and still perform and dance and all that other good stuff, she should keep going. But some people don't think so. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. A plus professionalism. But yeah, it was because I don't know. If something was crawling on me, I'd be like, what the fuck? I'd be in the middle of the song doing that. But it's like, oh wait, hold this note. or it could have been a situation where, look, she could have been up there lip syncing for her life and didn't want to expose the fact that she wasn't singing live, even though I think she was. And then she was like, oh no, I got to time this. Like, get off me. But she timed it right. Didn't hear Britney sing Kiss, but I heard the unreleased song where she samples Kiss, and I like it. Yeah, she was singing it on one of her videos that she did on her YouTube channel. I mean, not YouTube, on Instagram. She posted herself singing, and she had these little boy shorts. We talked about it yesterday. Jennifer Lopez thinks of herself as an R&B artist and stated if she does dance music, it's limiting her to white gays, and she feels that. Well, girl, that is your audience. What you talking about? Well, who is advising her? I need that homosexual Benny Medina to really sit down, sis. Let's have a talk. I'm not out of here. Y'all know he a big old queen. So I'm just sitting there like, that may limit you to white gays. First of all, the Latino gays like that music too. Who do you think was bumping on the floor in the clubs? It wasn't just white folks. So that European dance, she don't really know what the hell to do with her career. But I've always heard that in so many ways, is less than smart. But if she had the right people behind her, I definitely think that she should do dance music. If it's not going to limit you, it makes you an international superstar. That's where your bread is buttered. And quiet as it's kept, you weren't about limiting your audience, girl. You couldn't even sell out the arena in Spain. I told you, I have one of my really good friends and his husband live in Spain, and they was talking about and they both told me that she was struggling to sell them tickets on the Spain leg of the tour, and that was when the tour started. So you might have done well in other places, but Spain, girl, they ain't feeling you out there, or they wasn't feeling you in that location. And I think it was due to the price on them tickets. Like, I don't think she is. Even though she's been making music since '99, she has not solidified herself in a way that she could ask for you to spend $1,200 on a floor ticket, or even $400 in the 200s or the 100s. Like, you're not that girl, and it's because you really didn't put the time, the effort, and the work into your music career, like Beyonce, like Madonna, like Gaga, like Taylor Swift. They can ask for that kind of money and get it. You cannot do that. What OnlyFans he got? Put me on. Shoot, I'm trying to see something. Is I also feel she wanted to do it all. The only reason there were movies and music in the 2000s was because of legal contract for multi-album deal. Yeah, she was trying to do everything. But like I said, it seemed like she put more into the movies than the music. She would do like these one-off specials and perform here and there, the concerts and things, but she wasn't out here touring like her peers. Because she came at the time of Beyonce and Pink and all of them. She wasn't out here touring like them. She put out an album, the record sales would do what it do, and she move on to the next thing. Hold on, because I gotta make an adjustment to something, because I think I don't have to change the speed on this situation. Hold on, because we're about to get in this Tamar Braxton story. So, please hold as we get to that. All right. Okay, so now let's get into this Tamar Braxton story. So I gagged when I heard this yesterday. So right after the show, I'm like, let me eat something, and then I get ready, like I lay down a little bit. Well, not even lay down. I get comfortable in the bed. Start working on the show. Like, I thought this is a 24-hour gig. This is literally a full-time job. So I'm putting in the timestamps, doing other stuff, working on certain things, uploading other videos to my other platforms, like the shorts that I had edited down earlier while I'm in the midst of putting the topics together. Like, I'm trying to do 50 million things. I need an assistant. But when I get to the place where this channel grows to the point where I can afford to pay somebody to help out, and then we'll get to that point. But I am an army of one when it comes to this, and I appreciate all the work and the fact that y'all watch it. But nevertheless, enough of my woes. this whole situation. So right after the show, whatever, I'll check out other pundits. I'll see like, okay, who's doing, what other YouTube shows that I usually watch. I'm catching up on a lot of YouTube stuff. Funky Dineva, I'm a fan of his stuff. I watch his things. He is a part of this conversation. That's why I'm bringing it up. And this is how I found out about this whole drama regarding Tamar. Because I was like, what is going on with this whole Tamar situation? Because she revealed on social media that she almost died over the weekend, and she didn't reveal nothing in regards to like what had happened. She was just like, she was in a pool of blood. This is something that she revealed on her IG stories. And I have the IG post. Let me pull that up for y'all so you can see it. So yeah, she posted this. She said, I struggled to write this, but everyone keeps calling me, and honestly, I can't even really talk anymore. I'm so weak. I almost died on Sunday. I was found in a pool of blood from my friend with a face injury. As the days go by, the worse it is. I fractured my nose, lost some teeth, and mobility. The way I look at life now is totally different. As my health is on the mend, my mental journey begins. Pray for me for real. I don't even know what happened to me. That's a good question. What happened, sis? Because I'm like, how do you go and you hanging out, and then all of a sudden you wake up missing teeth and you got a broken nose and you don't know what happened? Because that's what she said. She was like, she woke up, but broken nose. She was missing teeth. Funky Dineva gets in the middle of it. And people were saying, like, well, why is Funky being dragged into this? And I think Funky's been dragged into this because there's video floating around that Funky was hanging out with Tamar on Saturday. And Funky has never made no qualms about he and Tamar kikiing and hanging out whenever he's, because he lives in Atlanta now. So he does hang out and fraternize with a lot of the local Atlanta elite. And that's one of them. So I think that's why they dragged it in the situation. Oh, what you do to her, or what happened? Because y'all know, but if you watch Funky Dineva's show, he's either eating edibles or getting high on his show. Not to the point of like, because people say, oh, there'll be certain people that be like, oh, he out here doing booger sugar, mountains of it, like he's Tony damn Montana, or other hard drugs. But it's like, no, weed is legal. Weed is not. I don't even consider that a drug. If it's legal and it's of the earth, and it's a herbal remedy that helps a lot of people out in so many ways. Hence why it's a medical situation where they have medical marijuana, whatever you want to call it. And that's the gist of it. I don't necessarily know if he doing these other drugs, but if he says that he's not doing that, I take his word for it. And I take people on their word until proven otherwise. So we don't know what happened. People decided to drag him into this conversation and thinking that he has something to do with it because fucking then he was moderately famous. Tamar Braxton is black famous. I mean, she is from the Braxton Family Values, and she plays into that whole particular black circuit of entertainment circles. The Atlanta circle, which is Black Hollywood. So they try to put two and two together to the point that Funky had to get on his show yesterday and windmill some of y'all because y'all was out here saying that he had something to do with whatever happened to her. And he like, I don't know what happened to her. It's a gripe with the way he went about it, and we'll get into that. But if y'all didn't see it, I'm gonna play this clip for y'all, and we'll come back and talk. I already know Funky live now on his regular show, but we're gonna play yesterday's clip. So please hold if it don't mess up.
What the hell going on? Y'all want to know what all the hell going on, bitch? I want to know what's going on too, bitch. Okay, the lady got on the internet and said she almost died. I know y'all. I'm not high. I'm not high. I did take an edible. I actually want to get off the line because my boyfriend just got in town and he down there cooking, bitch. We having smothered pork chop. We have a smothered pork chop over yellow rice with what green we eating? What he said? With cabbage and cornbread. Now listen, let me just go ahead and get this out the way, okay? Before we even get at the top of the show, I don't know what happened to the lady. Okay.
I knew that was gonna happen. It's gonna start with a damn
echo. For those of y'all that know, I'm talking about Tamar Braxton. I don't know what happened to the lady. We went out. what night that was we went out.
Imagine how burdensome it would
Of
be
course, gonna start
on
an ad.
your child
Hold
if
on.
you were perfect.
And I tried to make sure it was going to do that earlier.
Saturday night. We went out Saturday night. We went to the roof, Chris. We ate. We had a good time. She was like, let's turn up for your birthday. We went down to the V12. Shouts out to Vinny and all the people at V12. That's the video y'all saw. Or whatever, with us walking in, them making a whole lot of noise. We left there. We all got in the car together. The car dropped us off at Tamar house. I didn't go upstairs. I went to my car. I went and met James Knox at BJ Rooster, and I came home. The next day when I woke up, I had a text message from Tamar at 10 in the morning that said, can you give me Dr. Heavenly phone number? I didn't think anything of it because people ask me for Dr. Heavenly phone number all the time. And it's typically when people have an emergency veneer situation. I did not think anything of it. People ask me for her number all the time. And then the next thing I know, folks is sending me this thing on the internet where the lady said she almost died and she was laying in a pool of blood. And I know some of y'all are going to be committed to thinking I'm lying, and y'all going to be committed to thinking I'm biased, and y'all are going to be committed to thinking I'm covering up something. And I promise you, I swear to God, on my mother, I don't know what happened. I honestly don't. I don't know what happened. And that's the God honest truth. Now I know for some of y'all, that's not going to be good enough, but you're going to have to make it enough. I promise you, on Isaac's life, I don't know what happened. The lady ain't told me nothing. The lady just said she needed Dr. Heavenly phone number. So that's that on that. I hope we can put that to bed. I know what y'all know.
All right, so he pretty much said what he said, and basically was like, he don't know what went on with her. So the only issue, I mean, if you didn't have nothing to do with it, I actually believe him, because he's like, you know what, Tamar hit me up, wanted to celebrate my birthday, because I believe he turns 42 today. Shout out to Funky, happy birthday also. So I think he turned 42 today, because I was like, I think he was born the day before my father's birthday is tomorrow, actually. So, and then my birthday's in 2 weeks. So he was like, Tamar wanted to hang out. I did see the videos and everything, how she was hugging up on it, and there was that little cute gay boy, I don't know who he was, that was grabbing on his crotch, his own crotch, while he was holding on to Tamar, and they walking up the steps, and you saw the videos of Funky dancing and saying hi to people and stuff, and turning up and having a good time. And it was like they got in the car, as he said, they went to the house. Then he was like, I went and hung out with James Knox. I think James Knox is the big queen, the one that was doing the patty pies, if I'm not mistaken. So they went and went out, had a good time, and then he was like, I left them alone. I left the house. I went off and hung out with James Knox, came home next day. Something that happened up in that house, she breaking her teeth, missing 4 teeth. I've cut it off. We was mentioning that. We was about how she lost 4 teeth. And he went and asked, it was like, so you woke up and 4 teeth was missing? And he said that basically she didn't respond back because she wanted Dr. Heavenly's number. And y'all know who, I mean, if y'all don't know who Dr. Heavenly is, yeah, she's somebody who is a teeth surgeon. Like, she puts veneers, all this stuff in your mouth. She's working a lot of high profile celebrities. She's also on the show Married to Medicine over on Bravo. So Funky is good friends. Like, she did his teeth. I guess she did Tamar teeth, and she does a lot of people teeth out there in Atlanta. So whatever happened, the people in that house or whoever that was there when that got out the car and was up in there with Tamar know what happened. I don't know if she got a little too twisted and got into it. Somebody punched her mouth or whatever the case is, or there was just a situation where you got too drunk and you fell and hit your head or something or another. Because now she's talking about she doesn't have mobility. That maybe somebody slipped some under. I don't know. She needs to figure out what happened. Go to the hospital, have them do blood work, do something, because something ain't adding up. And I also think that I don't understand why a lot of people jump on social media and spreading all their damn business. We don't need to be knowing all of this. And then on top of that, when you put that out there, you're putting me in a situation where now I got to defend myself. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Yeah, I was hanging out with them, but why am I in it, basically? Like, How dare you? But this, I guess, is what you have to deal with when you in this industry and you start hanging in certain circles. But people see you hanging out with somebody, hit a sleuth, start sleuthing, and want to start making accusations and think that they know what's, all of what's going on. And it's like, what you're not going to do is put me in this situation. So, oh, and before I forget, the one thing that was rubbing me the wrong way when he kept referring to her as that lady, I don't know what happened to that lady. I'm like, bitch, that's your friend. How dare you? Number one, you don't refer to me as that lady. As like, I don't refer to you as that queen. So what you're not going to do is sit up in here and refer to me as that lady. It's like, if we're friends and I call you Funky or Quentin or whatever the hell she called you, or Miss Doniva, if I don't call you any kind of name out your name, you can call me Tamar. Or you can call me, or just whatever. You can just call me respectfully by my name. You should not be out here calling me that lady, because it feels a little rude. It feels very dismissive. So I understand you out here trying to windmill hard and defend yourself, and rightfully so, especially if you feel that you're being dragged in something that had nothing to do with you. Still show some respect to your friend, because you never know. God forbid something crazy could have happened. I don't think they revealed anything up in there where that would be worth talking about in regards to like what would give us any further details. All I know is we're supposed to be getting season 2 of the Braxtons. I don't know when that's supposed to be coming. I think they did show a trailer or something or another of the new season, but I don't remember when they're supposed to be starting. So shout out to you, Tamar. Get well. And Doniva, how you doing? So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding this news regarding Tamar Braxton saying she almost died 2 days ago when she was found in a pool of blood, and didn't really give us much detail. She just put, and you know what? See, this is the problem I have with you damn Pisces. Y'all be too goddamn emotional. Y'all start putting crazy stuff out there, and then they be like, well, what happened? And then y'all just try to go ghost, and you go quiet, and then we don't hear nothing. So don't leave us hanging. I want to know the tea. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Radio host Patty Jackson said today that Tamar fell on her face, although I'm not sure how she knows this. Probably somebody went and told her. But I could believe it. I'm like, because you know what I was thinking when that when they said she fell on her face? I'm like, now they got me doing that, because I'd be feeling like, oh, damn, I don't want to lose my teeth. It's giving Zac Efron. Remember when Zac Efron allegedly had the socks on and he slipped and fell in his house and busted open his chin, and apparently they put a chin implant in? It's kind of giving that. Because now you're talking about you lost mobility, you hit your face, so you broke your nose, you broke teeth, you missing 4 teeth, so it's probably all the ones in the front. So I'm starting to think that, yeah, she probably did fall on her face, because that would be the only thing that I would think. I mean, do you use your hands to break your fall? Or was it that you were so out of it that you just went boop, like a full face plant? I know that shit gotta hurt. And then you gotta go get a new, you gotta get your nose reset if it's broken. So you gotta go get a whole new nose job, and then get new teeth. Or I guess it's a new set of veneers. But thank you for that. All right, y'all. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me close all this other stuff out before we move on to the next topic. Also, let me see how many more topics we got. Okay. So we got our final 4 topics. So before we get to our final 4, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be putting timestamps in at the end of the show for those who are just going to come in and check out the clips instead of having to sit through the whole situation. Wait, I'm saying Elm Street and Scream 7 is trending. Well, I got to see what that's all about once I'm done with this show. There might be topics for tomorrow. All right, so now without further ado, let's get into this Jermaine Dupri story, because Jermaine done took his behind over to the Joe Budden podcast and has some things to say about Chris Brown and Usher. Because remember, at one point, everybody's been talking about for years that Chris Brown and Usher need to do a versus. I don't know why we still talking about versus. Sidebar. Whatever happened to versus? Didn't they say at one point that versus was supposed to go to Twitter with Elon Musk? So what happened with that? Quiet as kept, I don't even think people care, but I think y'all dumb for selling it to that old racist. Now he probably leaving it just, I have the license and stuff with it, but I'm not going to do nothing with the actual situation. So Jermaine Dupri and Usher, as y'all know, go way back, and according to the North Carolina-born songwriter, he's not willing to do anything that might put that relationship in jeopardy. During a recent appearance on the Joe Budden podcast, for sidebar, since when does Joe Budden all of a sudden get these celebrities to pop up over on his show? Because at one point he had Offset over there and made it look like, and Offset ended up looking like a damn fool sitting up there doing all that Cardi B bashing. Even though, sidebar, I love you, Cardi, but this new era ain't it. And it's no shade, I'm just saying. And then now he got JD over there talking. So yeah, he said he made it clear that it's something he definitely like to see happen, which would be a versus battle between Chris Brown and Usher. But he said he's siding with Usher, without a doubt. He said, I know everybody, you know people. I have this thing about Usher and Chris Brown. I'm never going to say Chris Brown, and I F with Chris Brown, but I wrote half of the Usher songs. Y'all want me to go against myself? Like, I'm not doing that. Well, yeah, that's a fact, because, like, from Confessions, I think 8701 too, like, JD wrote a lot of Usher's biggest hits. So, he said, like, however you feel going to happen in the verses, that's how y'all feel. These my songs. I wrote these songs. I'm going for my songs. I'm never going to go against myself. But at the same time, like I said, with being competitive, I'm also saying I want Usher to stay Usher. I want Chris Brown to stay Chris Brown. Let's fight it out. Dupri went on to explain that both Usher and Breezy have their own styles and that he doesn't ever want to see either one of them try to be something they're not, or someone they're not. He said, be who you gotta be. Like, just don't do his dance. That's like Prince doing Smooth Criminal. I mean, quiet as it's kept. Some people will say that when you look at Usher and Chris Brown, that they run around doing a lot of Michael Jackson's isms. So this would be the first time. And shout out to the Neighborhood Talk, because this is the way I actually saw the video on that. Because they had this was the post, actually. So I'll just leave that up there. Now, Dupri went on to explain that both Usher and Breezy have their own styles. And he went on to say, asked for whether or not he considered working with Brown if the opportunities arose. He claimed he'd think twice. He said, it's dangerous at this point. I don't go to the studio thinking about, let me hold this. Let me hold some other ish. Hold this. Let me keep this. I might F around and make Thriller. Usher will hate me for the rest of my life. So what I got from this basically is the fact that, and I would be, if I was Usher, I would be selfish in that way. If I have someone who is my key producer that has garnered me some of the biggest hits of my career, and he goes off and works with someone who, in so many ways, has similarities with the type of music that I do, because while Chris Brown and Usher, yes, they black, yes, they dance. There's similarities to the type of stuff that they do. So while JD's up in here saying, oh yeah, they do different things, blah, 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 there's similarities to a lot of what they do as performers. Hence why I think a lot of people have said they want a versus between Usher and Chris Brown. Yes, Usher's older. Usher is going to be 47 in October. Chris Brown is like what, in his late 30s, about to be 40 in a couple of years. So I could definitely see why there's that comparison there. So for JD to sit here and try to act all obtuse, it's like, I get it. I'm going to be loyal with the person that is actually, I'm going to guarantee to make money off of. I mean, I don't know if Usher still has that same credence music-wise. Like, on the charts, his music ain't selling. That last record ain't really go nowhere. But he's still out here performing. He's still out here being a force to be reckoned with. Like, Usher's the ultimate showman. And Chris Brown has been successful with his stadium tour that he's been doing. So they're both famous and doing great in their own little situation. But for the most part, I'm going to agree and think that, you know what, while I would love to see a versus, wasn't there something that was going on about them regarding the fact that there was some sort of a fight that these two had at the club or something? So I don't know. It seemed like to me that Usher and Chris Brown, while everything is copacetic, with us, they don't really get along in real life. So I'd like to see a versus, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. So I say all this to you guys. What do you think of this story regarding what JD had to say about Usher and Chris Breezy? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I was like, damn, I almost closed the actual show. All right, so let's get now. Speaking of alleged beef, well, not this ain't even alleged. This is actual beef. Let's talk about Monique, because Monique's still out here talking about Tyler Perry, and I'm just like, sis, let it go at this point. Like, you never gonna get your apology and all this other stuff. But look, she's gonna keep talking until the day she dies, and she told to everybody who will listen regarding this whole situation between her and Tyler Perry. And this time, she went over on the Outlaws podcast with T.S. Madison. So, for those of you who need a bit of a refresher, the beef between the two stars dates all the way back to 2009 when the Precious actress refused to fly out to France for a non-contractually obligated appearance to promote the aforementioned film at that year's Cannes Film Festival. In light of her refusal, Perry, who was one of the APs of the film alongside Oprah Winfrey, labeled her as difficult to work with and essentially blackballed her from the industry. In the years that followed, Monique saw a complete slowdown of jobs and subsequently called out Perry for the part he played in her career downfall. In one post on social media in particular, she posted an audio conversation of Perry admitting he did wrong by her and that he would eventually apologize. But of course, she's still waiting. Now, in a new interview with T.S. Madison for her Outlaws with T.S. Madison podcast, Monique is finally sharing the two things that will get her off Tyler Perry's neck. They said back, but I put it on I put neck. And she said a public apology and financial restitution. Now, explaining that Perry messed up 12 years of her career. Damn, this has been going on for that long. She made it clear she was going to keep pushing the issue until a resolve has been executed. So I do have that clip, courtesy of the Twitter. And we're going to play that clip. So you can hear, oh, hold on, what did I hit? The wrong button. We're going to play that clip and then we're going to come back. Okay. So, please hold.
One of the biggest entertainers in the world is Tyler Perry. And Tyler Perry told a lie on me. And that lie cost me 12 years of my career. 12. And I know that you work for that man. But as I told you before, and I'm going to say it again, until he fixes it, I will not stop, because that's how the monster is created. We're too afraid. We're too scared. We're too fearful that you're going to take something from me. So I'm just not going to say anything. Harvey Weinstein is where? He's in jail.
In jail.
And that's been going on for decades. But everybody said, let it go. Don't say nothing, which allowed that man to do more damage to women over the decades. As long as I can help it, I'm saying, Tyler Perry, you will not do this to another, as long as I can help it, because you told a lie. And you feel like you have the God complex. So I ain't got to fix it. Either you'll fix it in life or you'll be dealt with in death. It's totally up to you. But I'm not going nowhere. Oprah, I'm not going anywhere until y'all take accountability and fix it. Y'all messed with my livelihood, which messes with my family. Never would I do that to anyone. So until they fix it, I won't back down.
Well, let me ask you, what does fixing it look like to you?
You see what Lee Daniels did?
Mm-hmm.
That man walked out on that stage publicly. See, you publicly shamed me. You publicly shamed me. So now you have to publicly fix it. Tyler Perry, you cost my family millions and millions and millions of dollars. And it is a beautiful thing when you tip somebody $3,000. It's a beautiful thing when you give somebody $400,000 because their house burnt down. Those are good deeds. However, you know what you did to a Black woman named Monique. So all of that, the universe is watching and saying, okay, we see what you're trying to do, but you can't fool us. And I don't believe I'm the only one. Of course not. You don't do that to somebody and it be your first time. You don't, because you're too comfortable in doing it. And when you get that God complex, the universe is watching everything. Fixing it means you apologize publicly, and you cost my family millions.
So it's you want to. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Mhm.
By just deciphering. you want a public apology and you want restitution.
Yes. And I say that unapologetically. You are on tape saying what you did to me was wrong. You are on tape. That's your voice, Tyler Perry. You called us. We didn't call you. You said what he did to me was wrong, and he was going to fix it when his movie Boo came out. When did Boo come out? 2016. We are now in 2025, and you've not fixed that. You've not fixed it.
Well, there's that. And so if you guys are actually interested in wanting to check out that episode, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it is available on YouTube. It might be out on YouTube because I usually be watching a lot of the stuff when, the Outlaws episode. She's had a lot of really good interviews and stuff over there. She has Sasha Colby. She's had so many other, a lot of the Drag Race girls, and now she's interviewing a lot of celebrities and stuff. And you want to know something? I know a lot of us, and even I can get in that way sometimes, like, Monique, let it go, whatever the case is. But if this is affecting her livelihood, then she needs to continue to speak out on it. And people should not be afraid to go up against Tyler Perry, especially all the little rumors that was floating around. What that Derek Dixon dude that's suing him allegedly for harassment, sexual harassment, among other things. The Christian Keys story where he was out here throwing subs and wanting money and all this other stuff, and all of a sudden that story went away as soon as he got paid off. And all these other people that's been coming out making accusations against Tyler Perry. There've been many deep dives and stories that you see floating around on social media, the TikToks, the YouTubes, all that stuff, the people that have been digging in this man's stuff. And my thing is, if you want to do good deeds for people, if you want to help people out, that's great. These are probably tax write-offs for him. However, you can't be out here doing good deeds and thinking that's going to fix the issue that you have when you've gone at other people in the industry and tried to sun them and let them know that I have the money, I have the power, I have the influence, I have the friends, and I can make or break your career as fast, and I can destroy your career as fast as you get it. And if this has hurt Monique, then yeah, she has a right to speak out and air her grievances. But so, good luck to you, Monique. I just feel like at this point, she's gonna keep speaking out about it because people are gonna keep asking about it, like T.S. Madison did on the Outlaws podcast. And I don't think you'll ever get that apology because, like you said, that it was almost 10 years ago that he said that he was going to give you the apology. He didn't give it to you. So, in the words of En Vogue, you're never going to get it. 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 Woo, woo. So, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Monique talking about that she's still out here trying to get that apology from Tyler Perry? It was good that Lee Daniels actually came and gave her the apology that she's always wanted, and they even worked together. They did that movie that was on Netflix, the one that Glenn Close said she could smell your nappy pussy. Yeah, that one. She was in that film, so she wound up doing that movie with Anya Day and all them other ones after that movie came out. So she was successful. That was a successful film. It was a hit on Netflix, but then again, compared to what, right? Then I think she had the Netflix special, and so she's been popping up here and there and doing things. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the reason why her and Lee Daniel were able to bury the hatchet was because of T.S. Madison having that conversation with him, and he was man enough to come forward and actually just be like, you know what, you was my friend, I did you dirty, and I apologize. And that's all Monique wants. But when you're dealing with somebody who thinks he got this God complex and got too much damn pride, I could have sworn those were deadly sins, but you got Pastor Perry out here acting like that he above every damn body. What do you expect? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's get into some Drag Race news, and let's talk a bit about Trixie Mattel, who has recently revealed in a podcast that she does with content, because they're doing a rewatch of the show of RuPaul Drag Race Season 7, and she giving a little behind-the-scenes tea on the elimination process that the girls go through when they chop from the show, or when they're told to sashay away. So most queens that enter a season of RuPaul's Drag Race end up eliminated, obviously, with only 3 or 4 per season reaching the finale, but it takes a special kind of diva to be eliminated twice in one season. That diva is season 7 fan favorite Trixie Mattel, who has since famously spun her straw into gold, going on to win All Stars 3 and becoming one of the most famous drag queens on the planet. Now, before there was a global megastar, Trixie, there was RuPaul's Drag Race newbie who got eliminated by RuPaul on episode 4 of season 7 after a parody music video challenge way back in 2015. Damn, I can't believe that season aired 10 years ago. But what actually happens when a queen gets chopped from the show? And what do the rest of the cast do while she's packing up her things to hit the house? Well, speaking on the Bald and the Beautiful podcast with frequent co-conspirator and season 7 co-star Katya, Trixie has answered just that. And here's what she said. She said, when you get eliminated, you leave. The producers take you off while all the other drag queens wait behind the main stage in silence in what feels like hours. And that's when Katya jumped in and was like, forever. I forgot about that. So then Trixie went on to continue and said the following. She says, so everyone who's safe sits behind the main stage. One person is one person has gone home, and the story producers stand there, with cattle prods, because they're like, don't spill the tea without the cameras, which of course y'all know the cattle prods thing was a joke. They're not really out here beating people with cattle prods. So she also went on to say, which by the way is what I would do. I would slap people and say, don't effing talk about that until we get the cameras up. Now, returning to her own elimination, the RuPaul's Drag Race star continued and said, quote, so the producers make everyone wait. They take you to a room. You're still in drag. I think they let you get out of makeup and they sit you down and go, you did a great job. I remember they went 4 episodes. That's a month of television. You're going to be on TV for 4 weeks. Plus, you get to come back for a reunion. They were telling me very true stuff. Theron, one of the show's producers, which, if I'm not mistaken, Theron's the one that is not liked by a lot of the Drag Race girls. I think also Theron's the one that they said they'd be spilling a lot of the secrets of the show online. And I believe was also the producer that showed up at a show that Naysha Lopez was performing at and was trying to give Naysha money, and Naysha kind of looked at them and refused to take their tip. So Theron is, I believe, not liked by a lot of people behind the scenes, from what I've heard. So Theron said, you're forever a Drag Race girl and you can do anything with this and it's not a big deal. Someone went home yesterday, someone goes home tomorrow. Now, season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race, featured a challenge in which all the eliminated girls were brought back, and Trixie also confirmed that she was notified of this on her elimination and said, basically, you coming back in a week. So now you know how they do the whole thing. Because I remember hearing stories that there have been queens who have revealed, like, the behind-the-scenes process, that it's like, yeah, while they keep her in a room, where they're doing the whole backstage thing where the person gets eliminated, the safe people stay backstage, then you have the winner and all that other stuff, and then they have to shoot the scene shortly after. Because like when you watch, I can't remember season 7 like off the top of my head, but I know like when you do the current season now, they said like they even keep them back, the eliminated queen backstage, because when they're doing Untucked, they have to, after they do the whole, dancing and everything and getting off the stage and the show's done until next week's episode, they go backstage to the workroom and they sit around and they have the little kiki, let's get out of drag. And that little moment that we always see in the beginning of the next week's episode. So once they de-drag and all that other stuff, that's when it's done. And then they bring the eliminated queen to come in and pack up their stuff and sashay away for real until the reunion. Or in case they have an episode where they want to bring back the eliminated queens. To be honest, I kind of want them to bring that whole situation back. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with season 18 when that one comes out, because we got some news regarding that in our next topic. So shout out to Trixie and Katya, who out here doing the Bald and the Beautiful and all other stuff. Have y'all been watching that show? And are y'all liking the recaps of old seasons from some of the queens who have actually gone through the trenches and are going through those emotions and stuff again, based off of like 10 years later after they did that season. So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. All right, now let's get to our final topic. Let's talk about Drag Race, which I feel like this ain't even real news because we've kind of been, I think we all pretty much knew that the shows have been renewed for another season because the tea's already been out the bag that they were out here shooting RuPaul's Drag Race season 18. They shot All Stars. We've been kind of alluding to that. All Stars 11. For the past couple of episodes, whenever we talk about the Drag Race show and Untucked and all other stuff. So yeah, so it was officially announced on all the trades today, even though we all knew that it was coming back, that Drag Race has been renewed for an 18th season, along with renewals of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars and the behind the scenes after show Untucked. So shout out to Deadline for this because they wanted to saying, quote, they got the quote. So it says, we want to express our gratitude to Paramount and their unwavering support of the RuPaul's Drag Race franchise as we celebrate more seasons of spreading joy and laughter. This is what World of Wonder co-founders and EPers, executive producers, Fenton Bailey and Rainey Barbato had to say. Now, Drag Race Season 17 delivered its highest rated premiere in years. The latest season averaged a 0.54 rating among adults 18 to 34 and a 0.5 among adults 18 to 49 per live plus same day data from Nielsen. Season 17 also managed the most significant full season share of television in RuPaul's Drag Race history in key demos, up 12% among both the 18 to 34 crowd and the 18 to 49 demo. The season scored a 6.18 share and a 4.15 share respectively. The latest queen, as y'all know, that won the crown and the scepter and the 200,000 grand prize was Anya Nerve. Then we saw All Stars 10, which brought us the return to Acid Betty, Aja, Alyssa Hunter, Bosco, Cynthia Cuckoo, Lee Fontaine, Diabetica, Deja Sky, and Denali. Other queens competing included Ginger Minge, who won, Irene the Alien, Georges, Kerry Colby, Lydia Butthole Collins, Mistress Isabel Brooks, and Nicole Page Brooks, Olivia Lux, Phoenix, and Tina Burner. And then we have like the rumored queens that we have that's going to be on RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 11, which bracket one allegedly is supposed to be Akira C. Davenport, Dawn, Lucky Stars, Morgan McMichaels, Morphine Love Dion, and Mystique. Then we have bracket two, which has allegedly April Carrion, Aura Mayari, Crystal Method, Selena Estides, Silky Nutmeg Ganache, and Vivacious. And then we have bracket three, which is going to be Hershey Liqueur Jete, Jasmine Kennedy, Jolie J. I'm that gay ass bitch. Remember, I'm Joey J. I'm that gay ass bitch. Kennedy Davenport, which I could definitely see her making all the way to the end. Samus Star and Sugar Cane. Somebody posted I think it was Megami that posted something. I don't know if y'all seen that video that's floating around or that still. First of all, I posted on my page and I got over 1 million views and likes on it, which goes to show y'all nasty as hell. There was a picture of this boy that said like, oh, I love black cock. And they were showing him at the airport, a white boy wearing a white t-shirt that had in black font, I love black cock. And I posted that on my page. I was like, chill. But look, some people saying like, look, if black men ain't mad about it, then we can't get mad about it. And it was black men that was living for the fact that these white boys be out here wanting their meat. So if y'all not upset and you're not getting in your whole, fetishization bag, then I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not sitting out here getting all pissed off over stuff if they not gonna get pissed off, because y'all should be more pissed than me. And I'm the light skinned one. But somebody posted and said that was Sam Star. Oh wait, no, it was Megami that said it was Sam Star. And then people started trying to read them and talk, well, if that was you or whatever, then you would have been crying for like 20 minutes or whatever the case. I was like, okay, shut up. Like, you always gonna have retards that's jumping in the comments wanting to say some dumb mess. So so that's the thing on season 11. Season 11 of All Stars. And I'm trying to remember, if I'm not mistaken, there's rumors swirling, and I'm trying to remember if it was All Stars 11 or if it's season 18, the big celebrity that's supposed to be popping up, like how they do every season now. It's supposed to be Cardi B. So we'll see if all that is actually true. This is all the Reddit rumors and stuff that's going around. 9 times out of 10, a lot of the leaks and stuff that's coming out actually turns out to be true. They ain't even trying to hide and keep things secret over there at Drag Race anymore. So at the end of the day, I had to try to make this interesting, this topic, because I was just like, y'all not pretty much telling us anything. I could have just mentioned this in 30 seconds and call it a day. But I'm looking forward to seeing the season. I'm looking forward to seeing All Stars 11 when that comes out next year. And they're still doing the brackets. I'm looking forward to seeing season 18 whenever that comes out and see who's going to be on that. I do know that we have who is it? We have some people that's supposed to be coming out. What is it? Wait, I forgot. The show season 18 is supposed to be coming soon because usually they drop in like January or whatever. But we have other spinoffs and stuff that's supposed to be coming. I was trying to see if I can find the damn article, but I was like, oh yeah, I got it. Because I wound up closing it out. And so yeah, so y'all already know like Ginger Minj won her season, and then they had Georges and that sort of thing. So being the runner up. But no, I was like looking in the wrong damn thing the whole time. So yeah, so we have what is it? The grand finale I already know is currently airing, or season All Stars 10. I know some people was also saying that they wish that they would put RuPaul's Drag Race and All Stars on Paramount Plus. I don't understand why with this new deal, Paramount Plus hasn't really gotten in business with Drag Race and said like, hello, if you're making all these announcements, why aren't people able to watch RuPaul's Drag Race on Paramount Plus? What you could do is put it out on Friday. Saturday ends up on Paramount Plus. So the next day release. And then we watch, those of us who can't watch it on the other thing, we can watch it there. I have to subscribe to Philo, which I'm paying like $25 for, in order to watch Drag Race. And I'm like, why should I have to go through that to watch a show when if Viacom and all y'all under the same umbrella, Paramount Plus just signed this big deal where they merged with Skydance, then why not abide by that? Why not make some of these changes? Y'all buying up every damn thing else. And there was a rumor, somebody was saying that the reason why they're making this announcement because there was rumors that Paramount might actually drop Drag Race, which I think would be dumb on your part. First of all, Drag Race makes so much money for Paramount. Why would y'all give that up? So I guess they were thinking with this merger and everything that was going on, there was a fear that they were going to get rid of it. So, we have a bunch of shows that I believe is on right now, right? So we have what is it? Drag Race France is out. Then we have All Stars 11 supposed to be coming. UK versus the World's upcoming season is supposed to be coming out. Slays and Royale is currently airing on World of Wonder Presents Plus. Wow, Presents Plus. I don't know why I said all of that. And yeah, so season 7 of Drag Race UK is supposed to be on the way. So the Runiverse is starting to, pick up again after like a couple of weeks of a drought. So we'll see how all that turns out. Or we can't wait to see how this all turns out. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding RuPaul's Drag Race, All Stars, and all this other stuff that's been renewed? I think pretty much we all knew that was coming. It was just, I guess they have to make their little announcement. RuPaul made the little announcement I saw in the YouTube video, which looked like they filmed that last year, and they decided to just drop it, like in between little things, like let's film this real quick so that we could just drop it on the air when we were about to make the official, trades announcement. So let me know what, and we already had the conversation that the show they feel like it's kind of losing its gusto. I hope they can get back into, get the show back on track. Because I've kind of been irritated with some of the decisions and the things that they've been doing in regards to Drag Race. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now, looks like we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm trying to see if I can come on tomorrow and give you another show. I know there's probably some interesting topics, stuff that'll pop up. I'll just give y'all a quick little something tomorrow, Lord willing. So, love you all for watching. Thank you all for continuous support of this show. Thank you for kicking with me in the comments and all that good stuff, or during the live chat. Love you. And until next time, ciao, darlings.